Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio. Happy Father's Day to you all. This is, of course, the only podcast where at least one of the co-hosts wakes up at 4:30 in the morning with a Charlie horse on their leg the size of an apple. I'm your host, Ryan Knightsey, possibly that co-host indeed. And with me, as always, is the man, the myth, legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing on this fine Sunday morning?
Clearly better than you.
You have no idea. 1 second, Scotty, 1 second, you're fast asleep. The next second, you're jumping from bed, unable, about to vomit in pain, unable to walk or stand, and you're just kind of like hopping, trying to quickly massage your leg. My leg still hurts. My leg still is uncomfortable. There still feels like there's a knot in there.
Has anyone ever, based on the stories you tell on the show, reach out and be like, "Are you okay?"
No, actually, not a single person has ever reached out to me and asked me if I'm okay.
I feel like every story you tell, I walk away thinking that.
It's a lot of physical issues. So to be fair to our listeners, I hope there are no
not okay.
Well, I hope there's no really smart actual doctors that listen to this show.
There's no way.
There's no way. So I think that's kind of where my problem lies. It's not that our listeners are dummies in any sort of sense. I mean, they are in the sense that they listen to us, but they in the sense of I think they're probably smart people, but I don't think they're smart enough to probably give me actual medical advice that I need for my various ailments.
They can be like, "Stop suffering." You'd be like, "Trust me, I've tried."
I have tried time and time again, but alas, here I am.
Well, I will credit the listeners because some of them have called last week's episode the best we've ever done.
Oh, very nice. And you didn't get canceled. To be clear, this is all praise, no cancels.
Yeah, well,
hold on. I forgot to ask this beforehand. Did you get pushback? Did we get pushback? I'm throwing you under the bus here by saying
did I check the one Discord that might have happened? No, so we will never know. Otherwise, I'm good. Right, I do know that a lot of people have or someone screen recorded some of my best moments, and now I've seen it tweeted a few times. But it's fine. It's fine. It's usually just like, this guy stinks. That's a classic. But the funniest part of this all is that I have done my best to know everything about today's New Japan show, and it feels like we could run it back today, folks. So don't you worry. Because for some reason, me, Bushiroad being bad just gives me power. It just gives me strength, and I feel great today. But it's also CMLL week. That's what I'm calling this. We get to talk a lot of CMLL, which is exciting. At least I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
Maybe Ryan could give a shit less. He's more excited.
I think it's very exciting this week. No.
That's his company.
No.
But yeah, I'm ramped up, ready to go. I'm not waking up with Charlie horses. Sorry to give it away, Ryan. That it was not me. But no, I feel great, and I'm ready and raring to go. Let's run it back after last week, because for some reason, last week wasn't enough.
Well, I think to pick up on where we left off last week, I think everyone or one of our listeners want to know is how those headphones doing.
Oh, they're so broken. These are new ones.
I see you have one ear covered right now on the
video. Yeah, well, I usually do that, I've learned, but it's not as drastic as I have it right now.
Yeah.
Because I like to be able to hear, and these are noise canceling, so I usually take one off. These are different though. These
hold on, they're noise canceling, and you want to be able to hear. So why do you have noise canceling headphones to begin with?
I feel like every headphone is noise canceling at this stage, so I don't know. Well, these ones, okay, so these ones, fun fact. So these are my old ones that I've had forever, right?
Sure.
But they're kind of like crappy, and I can't hear as well.
What are those, Audio Technicas or whatever?
I think you're actually correct. And I've had these for years. These are not the ones I threw because it's a wire. If I threw them, everything would have went the other day, which would have been funny if we think back. But really bad because a lot of this stuff is not cheap. Those are cheap. So I switched to noise canceling last year. This is the story everyone was looking forward to on Ring Post Radio today. And I have a couple Ring noise canceling headphones. I think just like I said, I feel like every single one is noise canceling at this stage, at least that are Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So that's why they're noise canceling, but they're nice. They're really nice headphones. The ones I threw aren't like broken to the point they're not usable. They're just not in the best shape.
Perfect. Well, I think that's
so far, by the way.
What's that?
They went to the other side of the room. Like when I do those, they went so far. And the funniest part to remember is that was when you said Mao.
That was like at number 26. That so many people left.
I rewatched the whole thing.
You peaked
I
so
rewatched
early.
the entire segment, and I said to myself, "What is wrong with me?"
I think that's
then
a fair takeaway.
But then I also said, "Am I wrong though?" That's the problem. Like I walked into many instances of like, but am I wrong? And the answer was usually no, I wasn't. Is that a little big headed? Maybe, but look at the tape.
That's good to hear, and I'm glad you have some.
There was
sort
nothing
of
good about that. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's good to hear about the headphones. Are they usable at all?
Yeah, for sure. I'll probably still use them. They'll be fine. These ones are like exactly the same, so it's fine.
Okay, perfect. Well, then great. Perfect. I'm glad we got that in the books. Thank you everybody for listening to this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Like Scotty said, we're going to talk about, of course, New Japan Dominion. That'll be I think that's our kickoff. Did I forget to look up news bits before the show? I feel like there's news to talk about, but suddenly I'm forgetting all of them.
Is there news to talk about? That's a great question.
I feel like there is.
I'm so disconnected from news that I don't know.
I want to say, I mean, we could always talk about I was gonna say WWE, but I don't want to talk about WWE.
This feels like a nice WWE less episode.
Yeah, I wanted to say something at the top of the show of just like, it's this has been, I think, a very tough week for the country. I think that's fair to say, Scotty. That and now not only in that, but then you also have WWE get cozying up even more with with the current regime. Let's say that I just want to say it's been a tough week. I don't like seeing everything that I've seen on the news. I mean, it was kind of fun watching clips of the parade yesterday and seeing how quiet it was. I don't know if you saw that squeaky tank video. Very funny.
I did see that video.
But look, it was an extremely tough week, and sadly, I don't necessarily feel like it's going to be the end of it. But then seeing all the people protesting everything, I think that was very great, very fun, very hopeful that people are in agreement about everything that's wrong right now. To a certain degree, and WWE is getting more in line with that regime, and I'm not a fan of that at all. And I'm wrestling with WWE and watching them at all. So that's a future conversation for future episodes. But today we get that week off. We got a week to talk about anything else other than that. I guess we should not talk about AAA if I'm going to keep that promise up. And then
I don't want to talk about AAA. It was because that's your favorite Lucha Libre promotion.
I kept saying Mexico week, and I was like, well, AAA has a show, and it's the first post Worlds Collide show, so maybe it's of note.
It's okay. Alberto Del Rio's on it. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, that's not great. I mean, Joe Hendry's on it, so it's gonna be a draw.
Oh,
did you see that? Speaking of Joe Hendry, did you see that TNA whatever the next show is, big show is? There was like a WrestleTix update that
Slammiversary?
Maybe it was Slammiversary. I don't exactly remember, but I saw some sort of update from WrestleTix that said that TNA in whatever update, let's say a week later, not sold, but 13 people refunded their tickets.
That's awesome, dude.
So they had instead of oh yeah, we sold more tickets, they actually now have more tickets available at still the same amount. So it's just very funny. They have negative selling for a show.
I thought about this. because somehow every Thursday I learn this. There's real TNA fans. Isn't that crazy? In the year 2025. Like,
Supposedly.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling
You're only
22.
22.
We both did that good shit. I don't understand how you watch TNA in a serious manner anymore. I mean, I know
I
you
think that's
tried for a long time, but like once you gave up, I feel like that's when a company reaches its limit.
it's the thing of like I was watching it because it was another promotion and there's other talents and there's other things to follow it.
Yeah.
And then once the
Now it's
WWE
just on its
partnership
feet.
happened, I try to like keep up to see like, okay, let's see how this partnership is going to exist. And once it became clear that like TNA is nothing compared to WWE and they're not just going to get shafted constantly and all these and they're okay being shafted, it was like they're so insignificant now. Bad as well. You know, you can throw in bad, but I'm going to throw in, I think, maybe harsher word of insignificant. There's no point in watching it, and I think that is truly Scotty why like I don't really feel the need to talk about TNA on the show anymore, right? At least for the time being, you know.
Yeah. Look,
That
we'll
like
talk to you at Slammiversary.
I mean, yeah, Slammiversary, I think maybe a more of note, but we'll see.
Bound for Glory.
I think like
TNA sucks.
I was thinking about this the other day, actually, of just like I feel like what we try to do, or like when I'm putting a run sheet together for us, like what I'm trying to cover is like obviously stuff we want to watch, but then stuff that like feels significant, important, for us to discuss. That's kind of why I brought up AAA for you beforehand, just because it was like, you know, it's the same. It was the same thing of like TNA post WWE partnership, right? It was like, okay, this is the first big one. Let's see what it looks like on their end. I imagine it's gonna be bad, but
it don't look good.
But yeah, it feels to that end to me. It's like of what's happening this week, it feels significant, but you know, I definitely don't think it's good.
Sure.
But I guess I guess that's the AAA talk. I guess that's
Triple A.
AAA, which does not look like a great card at all. Triple Mania Regia tonight, actually.
I will say this. Here's my AAA take. They should be ashamed to be running this the same week of all the CMLL shows that are being run the same week. That is my take.
They are going to get bludgered, mocked, bludgered, destroyed, rampaged, baby.
And I will say this. They would have been mocked whether WWE owned them or not. But now that they do, boy oh boy. Because Alberto Del Rio would still be champion. Like, you gotta remember that.
It's true.
That was the plan they were going with.
I mean, the question is Alberto Del Rio going to be champion again, right? Like, was that bit just for Worlds Collide?
That would be funny.
Yeah. Eternal Pure saying it has one good match. Obviously, he's talking about the Alberto match. He's Eternal, I believe, is on record saying he's a big Alberto fan.
Wow. Wow. You're trying to lose us, listeners?
I do think there's probably one. I mean, the opener is not bad. Yeah, the opener is not bad. I think
that's Triple Mania Regia.
I think the opener is probably the opener. By the way, El Fiscal, Mr. Iguana, Nino Hamburguesa versus the Tokyo Bad Boys. So that's not like a bad opener.
Can we give some credit to Mr. Iguana for getting backstage sheet already? Shouts out to him. Incredible, my guy.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't blame him. It's like he is the number one merch seller, or maybe he's a number one merch seller. I don't know, but
he's an iguana.
He's an iguana. What do you say? You're gonna get mad at a guy that works with a stuffed animal. Come on. Come on. What are we doing here? He's an iguana. You know. I was about to do a whole other topic of issues with that, but I'm not gonna get into that.
New Japan Dominion, 2025.
Yeah, 2025. New Japan. Yeah, let's. This is gonna.
Let's go to something more positive. Looks at the timeline.
Oy.
Oh no.
Oiga.
Oh no, boys and girls.
So because I woke up at 4:30 this morning, I was able to watch the entire show. Actually, literally when
That did work out for you, huh?
yeah, it did. I don't like that it worked out for me, but it did work out for me. When I
Well,
logged
when you
on,
said to me before the show that you watched the whole thing, I said to myself, "How?"
great
That's
question.
all I said. 'Cause I was like, "You don't, like, wake up for these shows typically," and then you explained to me, and I said, "Oh, no."
Yeah, yeah. When I literally logged into at like what are 5 or 6 or whatever it was. Um, when I logged into New Japan World on my TV and I put on
Yeah.
just like the live feed, I was like, okay, let me see what's happening live right now. It was literally like the ending bit of like Goto doing his entrance at the turnbuckle and everything, and I was like, okay, great. I can watch the main event right now, and then I'll go back and watch everything because I was like, if I go back and watch everything by time it gets to like Kid and Suji, it will most likely be uploaded, so I can probably watch the whole thing, and I
Yeah,
did.
that worked out. That worked
Uh,
out well.
New Japan Dominion. So you spoke about the timeline, Scotty. What are the streets saying? I know you weren't able to watch the thing because of your morning, but
Yeah.
what is the streets saying?
2 great, 2 outstanding matches, which on paper were the 2 I expected. 2 great, kind of, and then the rest of the show was not. Whether it be the house or the house or the house.
Yeah,
That was a lot of it. The G1 blocks, I didn't see people thrilled by, which was tough. So that was kind of that's the one. So when I woke up, that's the first thing I looked towards. I was like, I just want to know what these are. I don't really give a shit about the rest of the show. And then
mhm,
I looked at them, and we'll talk about them here in a second. So I'm not going to spoil my thoughts on 'em.
sure.
I know people were happy about the tag title match,
I really
but
liked I thought that was really good. I went 3.5 on that.
the semi-main event, I have read many things about that match, and a certain logo on someone's knee, what the fuck's it called? Knee pad. I couldn't think of the second. Dear God, we're on a hot start today. I heard that the reactions weren't as hot as they once were for that match, which you and me talked about last week. I don't know if anyone hated the match or liked the match. I have no idea on that, but I know a lot of people were not as thrilled with where that match was considered to where it used to be, if that makes sense.
Cage match currently with only 6 votes in, obviously super early with all these returns. 7 flat.
Yeah,
6
yeah.
matches,
So
6 votes.
I didn't expect it to get a bad rating, even
Yeah.
if maybe the crowd is a little lesser behind Mr. Kid.
Yeah.
Um,
Watching it, we'll talk about all the matches. I guess more in depth through my POV. But watching it, there was definitely lesser, a little bit of the air like got out of the room a little bit. It
mm,
didn't quite. I think like if all the Death Rider stuff didn't happen with Gabe Kidd, then I think that like maybe this match could have had more heat and fervor behind
yeah,
it. It
'cause
didn't.
it did the first time.
Yeah, it didn't not have that. Don't get it twisted. It wasn't like the crowd was completely dead for Gabe Kidd, in my opinion. But it was definitely like, you could feel like a little bit of like there's an elephant in the room a little bit.
Mm.
An elephant in the form of the walking slowly from the back into the ring, through some red LED
The
tubes.
the way people were talking about House of Torture, I thought he had joined.
That's fair. House of Torture was the big anchor of this entire show.
Oh, I saw they added 3 members, and only one of them are I would consider good. And even that one I would not have added to the group, so that's a different
Yeah,
conversation, you know?
yeah.
Um,
Top down, this was a show. In my opinion, that like I agree that there was. I think 1 to 2 great matches. I think there were a couple really goods in my opinion. But realistically, Scotty, it's like in my opinion, if you look at any of these matches and see House of Torture involved, you skip it.
yeah,
Just simply
it
skip
feels
it.
that way. My favorite
Or
part of
sorry,
Cage
or Shota
match.
Umino, and
Yeah, no shit.
that's another
Ah,
shield.
trust me, buddy, that is locked and loaded,
Yeah,
to never ever be watched. My favorite part of this entire of looking at Cage match is looking at the dog collar match and looking how many people are with Evil. Just look at it.
It's insane.
It's hysterical. It's like,
It's
oh
insane.
my god. Yeah, so I think it's also funny just to sit here and think of all the good grace New Japan has earned themselves, right?
Mhm.
They've earned themselves a lot of good grace this year,
Yeah.
right? Hiroki Goto, world champion,
Mhm.
Yota Tsuji, global champ,
Yeah.
just good wrestling, you know, such good graces that when Naito was leaving, most people obviously were upset, but they're like, yeah, they'll be fine.
They're better suited than the
Um,
Okada Osprey.
right. Boy, oh boy, this show is the first time I think I've seen since the Zack Shota Umino match at Wrestle Kingdom, where everyone's just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's fascinating.
What also like sucks about that is like it's not that like it's not like this show told me like the entire roster is bad,
Right.
Oleg Bolton put on a great performance, I thought. They belted up Taichi and Ishii. Spoiler alert. And I
Yeah.
think and that was a really good match that I enjoyed as well, right?
They had 700 less people this year.
So, I mean, what was the main event last year?
The Super Junior final.
Yeah, with Despy and Ichimori.
Yes. I don't remember who Despy beat.
Yeah, but
Sounds right.
Is that bad? That feels bad.
It feels pretty bad. Everything else has been up.
Yeah, when you have a world title
this year.
match. I mean, you have a
It's
world
a
title
cold
match
world
that
title match, in my opinion. I don't think it was like built up to the
no.
level. I don't know. It's
No.
odd. We're gonna talk about it though. We don't want to jump ahead.
Do we want to do the G1 climax first and then talk about the
Oh, that's a great idea, Ryan. That's a great idea.
That one we can get into some discussion here. So
yeah,
let's talk about the G1 climax. Of course, this is a Dominion, so we revealed some entrants for G1 climax 35. Can you believe it, Scotty? 35 years of the G1 climax. Where do the years go by?
I can't wait for your 35 years of the G1 climax podcast series that you regret after like 3 episodes.
16 entrants are officially
You did a
announced.
G1 podcast. Never mind.
Yeah, 16 entrants have officially announced for this tournament so far.
Oh my god.
There are going to do 4 play-in winners. This is the same bit they did last year where they had the sort of mini tournament to get in. I really liked that last year, and so I'm enjoying that to see who it is. We don't know what that mini tournament is going to be. They didn't announce those people. I don't know exactly when they're going to announce those people. But I remember they did it during the New Japan Soul, probably day 1 of that tour last year, and then had the matches during that tour. So I imagine it'll be the same boat this time around. What is the first day of Soul?
The first day of the play-in tournaments. So the 4 play-in matches held on June 23rd in Corkin Hall and July 4th in Tokyo Budokan will determine the last spots. You're welcome.
Perfect. But that's the tournaments themselves. So maybe June 18th, the first day of the New Japan Soul Tour, we'll find out who that tournament consists of.
Or they'll just tweet it.
Or they'll just tweet it like they typically do. But besides that, we do have some participants, of course, announced. So we'll discuss each block. We'll start with Block A.
There's some stinkage.
Yeah. I feel like every year since like the good old days of New Japan, every single year, everyone's like, "This is a stinky block."
I don't know, man. The B block has a lot of people I have no interest in watching. Yeah. Oh boy, it has to catch though.
It has to catch this, so that helps. and I do honestly think the play-ins are gonna have to really do some work.
The play-in did a lot of work last year, but Big Bolton's already in this year, so thank God.
So Block A, who we have so far is Hiroki Goto, Bolton Oleg,
Yuya
Uemura,
Yota
Tsuji, David Finlay, Evil.
Based on today, sounds tough, but
Sonata.
Oh no.
Oh god. And Hiroshi Tanahashi.
That's terrifying. I'm not gonna lie to you. Hiroshi Tanahashi saying, you know what? It's my last year. Let's do this. I'm terrified for him. But I also respect the hell out of it.
Sure. Yes, this is officially going to be obviously billed as his last G1 climax before he retires.
Fuck
Will
it, he should win.
I I think that he is either making it to the semifinals or losing like every single match.
So yeah,
What are-
that's actually what that's absolutely same ballpark. I'm in agreement. Oh
Because
boy.
remember that Yuji Nagata did that last G1 climax run a couple years ago, and I want to say he lost every single one. Maybe he won one match.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it was. I'm
I
gonna see
think
if I
you're
can look that
correct.
up real quick.
Um,
But what do you
boy,
think
oh
about Block
boy.
A?
It's better than Block B.
For sure. Block B is not great. All the people there are like, hey, where's the rest of the roster? Well, they're in Block B apparently.
Yeah. It's really strong. Yeah, Goto, Oleg, Yuya, Yoda, Finley. Obviously I like Evil, but I haven't seen the House of Torture stuff today, so
He
it
was
feels like
fine in it.
it feels like it feels like the group has gotten more dangerously to the point where I have very little interest in them as a whole, because they added two people I don't like,
Yeah.
and that's tough. Love Evil, but I have negative interest in Sonata.
I will say that like Evil wasn't necessarily like the bad part about the match. Like it was just
it
kind
was
of like
everything else.
overbooked nonsense. But
Classic House of Torture, never Evil's fault. Thank you. And Hiroshi Tanahashi, which is fun. So yeah, this is the good block.
a definitely good block. I mean, interactions between Goto and Bolton Oleg interest me a lot. I mean, Goto with this
Goto essentially against the top 3 young guys.
Yeah, Oleg, Suji, and Uemura. It's all 3 of those matches versus Goto intrigued me a lot. I mean,
the best foreigner in the group, in the company, the right kind. He's not bald. Bolton, can you shave your head real quick?
How old is
So
Oleg?
I could just. He's like 32.
Oh, dang, he's not in the 30 under 30.
Never. No, none of the younger or under the like none of them are young in New Japan. They're all over 30 somehow.
Yeah, he's 32.
Except for Shingo, or sorry, except for Shota.
Except for Shingo. Yeah, except for Shota, which is everyone's like, no, get out of here.
No, thank you.
Like I was going through like the block this morning and looking at it, and I was thinking in my head of like, just go like
B block, man.
Just going through like, one person at a time of like, okay, what are some matches that I'm interested in? Hiroki Goto, you could kind of just like go down the line. And honestly, I think up until you get to Sonata is when you're like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Goto versus Bolton. Goto versus Uemura. Goto versus Suji. Goto versus Finley. Goto versus Evil. Even I think it can be interesting.
Goto versus Tanahashi.
Yeah, I think there's a little juice. There's a little juice.
A little juice. Put him in a good building, and you'll get juice out of it.
Yeah,
and early in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to give Sonata, who is obviously the worst person of this block so far, other than whatever the play-in winners might be, but probably he's going to be the worst. I'll bet.
Unless like fucking base. No, there's already 2 House of Torture guys here. They can't. Never mind.
They shouldn't. They can't. They cannot do that to me. Put Don Folly in there. I was just looking in here, like, does Sonata have any interesting match in this entire thing? And I thought to myself of like, maybe the evil one is just like interesting because of that. Uemura, yeah.
Because they never did that, did they? Oh, they did do it. It was fine. No, they did do it. It was okay.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Never mind.
Sonata
I tried. Hey, shout out to me for trying, though, right?
Yeah, David Finley versus Suji should be really good. Uemura Suji, it should be very interesting. Obviously, very good as well. There's a lot of things.
Was world champion 2 years ago.
There are a lot of things in Block A that get me going. That makes me very excited for this.
Who would you like to see? I would like to see Tai Chi play into this block. Thank you.
I think he will. I think based off the story last year and then sort of last second winning the tag titles, I think earn him into this play-in spot. So I think he will go in.
I would like to point out something funny.
Sure.
The IWGP World Title Challenger from Check's Notes, Wrestling Dontaku, didn't even make it.
And who was that for our audience?
Callum Newman.
I think he will be in the tournament.
You would think so. It's
he
funny though.
he screams like a guy that would be in the tournament.
Yeah,
It's weird that Great Khan's in there.
Put him in. He doesn't have a title.
Oh, you're right. He does have a title. Does he have a title? Hold on. Does he have a title?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I think I'm making up a title.
Yes, he has. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Never mind. I was going to say he has the KOPW title, but that doesn't exist anymore. So, no, he doesn't have a title.
He had the television title, and then he didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew he had some sort of belt.
But he had a title, so that makes sense, I guess. You know, in terms of
they should put Callum Newman in B block.
It's just because you don't want to watch Callum Newman.
You'd be correct.
I'm
B block gets worse the more I look at it.
let's talk about B block because we know we're both excited for A block. B block,
shit, man,
is as follows: El Phantasmo, the biggest first name to pick up, has El Phantasmo, Shota Umino, Shingo Takagi.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna have to do some heavy lifting on this one.
Shingo versus Zack Sabre Jr. again. I haven't seen that match before.
I can't believe you're saying that about Shingo versus Zack Sabre Jr. and not Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shota Umino.
Oh
my. Like Shingo versus Zack Sabre Jr. Scotty.
I didn't even connect it. Well, because I feel like I watched the other one so many times, but I didn't even connect that.
Shingo versus Zack Sabre Jr. is at least going to be a good match, Scotty.
Yeah, that's
Come
true.
On. I understand we see it a lot, but that's a good match still. Shota Umino versus Zack Sabre Jr.
God.
A year of so many of these matches that I don't care about.
The problem is I have like such little interest in Zach right now, and this block did not help his case.
His job is to like put him with Shota Umino so that Shota Umino could become a better wrestler, and all it's doing is dragging Zach down.
Oh God! All right, continue. It doesn't get better.
Obviously, Zack Sabre Jr., Great Khan, Gabe Kidd.
Oh God! Okay.
Red Narita.
Uh-huh.
I'll say this about Red Narita real quick. He's just so like not like on my radar anymore that like I don't have any opinion on this guy. So in a way, his stock is up comparatively. And then
I mean, I think you'd rather I don't know. You'd probably rather watch the Shota because Shota's matches are longer.
That tends to probably be accurate. And then, of course, Konosuke Takeshita, which was rumored to be in this G1 tournament and now officially
is part of it. Drowning. You look at the rest of this and you're like, oh, that poor guy. Oh, boy.
There is an element of like, let's take some like really good workers with like Takeshita. And I'll still say Zach is still a very good worker, obviously. And Shingo, of course. And then put him with like some not great workers. And let's see if we can get some good matches out of these guys. You know what I mean? Like, let's see if we can get something out of these guys.
I have never so desperately needed Hiromu Takahashi to be in the play-in more than I do looking at this tournament. I know how you feel about Hiromu. He would benefit either block massively.
Hiromu is not a bad idea for that tour, man. He did have the tag title run with Naito, so I don't think that's put him out of the question there. I think that's a legitimate good pick.
I think he would make sense for a play-in too.
Yeah.
Instead of just getting handed a spot since he's a junior and always has been.
After we go talk about B block, I'm gonna look at the profile listing and just name all the heavyweights that aren't in this tournament. Also
doing 4 play-in people, kind of crazy.
I think we did 4 last year too.
They did 2 because it was Oleg and Callum. They did a tournament rather than just play-in matches. Like they're just doing play-in matches this time.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the unique difference.
So I'll give you the tough task here, Scotty. Give me 3 matches that you're excited to see in Block A and 3 matches you're excited to see in Block B.
Oh boy.
Okay. Block A, pretty easy. Maybe it's difficult because there's too many matches.
Hiroki Goto versus everyone. Hiroki Goto versus Bolton Oleg. David Finlay versus Bolton Oleg. I realized I haven't seen that and I got excited thinking about it. And I am actually very intrigued to see Finlay and Yuya finally after how everything went there. So I'll go with that. But there's a number of matches, I think, here A block's a lot easier than B block. I can't believe you're about to ask me this.
B block, same question. What are some 3 matches you think you can put together? You're like, okay, I'm excited for that.
Konosuke Takeshita.
Oh, I have a feeling he's going to be in all 3.
Or Shingo Takagi.
Of course.
I guess Konosuke Takeshita versus Zack Sabre Jr.
And then
And
it's gonna be a tough third pick for Scotty.
Konosuke Takeshita versus play-in winner.
That's a good out. That's a good out. I'll ask the same question, but reverse it. Give me 3 matches that in Block A and Block B that you're not excited.
Sonata versus Sonata versus Yoda Tsuji sounds bad. I don't know why. Just
something about that. That's something about that. Yeah, I get you.
I won't make this all Sonata. I don't want it all to be up. But Sonata versus Hiroshi Tanahashi might be treason.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
And then here's one that might shock people: Yu Uemura versus Yoda Tsuji. I don't want to see that again right now.
Really?
Yeah. I don't love their chemistry, but also I'm trying to give you something that's interesting, not Sonata versus Guy, you know, or even like everything else would have been a boring answer. So let me give you a little spice.
Yeah,
little favorite matches in B block.
Beforehand, I'm just gonna say that like there's something about like Hiroshi Tanahashi and Bolton Oleg that make me slightly nervous. Of like, just in terms of like the inexperience of Bolton Oleg and the decrepit body of Tanahashi.
Are you saying Tanahashi's got some injuries?
Yeah, a few. It's got a few, I think.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, that I don't necessarily think will be bad compared to like Sonata matches. But you know, if I wanted to throw my own spice in there, Scotty, I think that would be my spice
for sure.
Block B.
Oh boy, there's a lot of matches.
You got a lot to choose from here, Scotty.
There's a lot here. El Phantasmo versus Shota Umino sounds deplorable. Shota Umino versus Great-O-Khan sounds deplorable, awful, the worst thing you've ever heard of. And you know what's crazy? That happened this year. Yeah. I feel like I gotta get Ren Narita in here, but the funny thing about him is he'll just have the simple heel match and he'll lose. You know, like
maybe some shenanigans. You know,
yeah. Like for me, the worst ones are the ones that I know aren't going to be short, and that is Mr. Shota Umino every single time. Shota Umino versus Zack Sabre Jr. Get the fuck out of here! I don't want to see that at all. Yeah. I don't want to see that match at all. I rather watch 10 Ren. I rather watch the entire Ren Narita tournament than watch that match again.
Well, that's right. My shitty match that I'm going to put out here for that you haven't said is Red Narita versus Great-O-Khan. I think that's
it sounds pretty bad.
That screams like I have no interest in seeing that.
Yeah, no, that's fair, man. I'm not going to argue against that.
There is nothing. Look, and it's not necessarily like Shota Umino obviously has go away heat on this podcast, but like Red Narita versus Great-O-Khan doesn't necessarily have go away heat. It just has like. It does literally nothing for me.
Yeah, for sure. That match doesn't even feel like it should be on like night 1 of the New Japan Soul Tour, let alone the G1 final. Or Jesus Christ, not the final.
You're right. It should be the final. I agree with that.
I also want to say this: Gabe Kidd versus Shota Umino. That I don't know.
Well, there's something that always intrigues me.
There is a wonderful history there. You are true. They have a great history with each other. They're big fans of one another. You're super duper right.
Gabe Kidd versus Shota Umino ticks the Ryan Knightsey is like
maybe this could be good on accident.
Well, it's not necessarily it could be good. It's the morbid curiosity box that gets checked with those two. You know what I mean? Fair. So other than that, let me just quickly read a list of some heavyweights that currently are announced that could be in that tournament. Of course, you have Bad Luck Fale. You have Callum Newman, who I think is very likely.
Of course, you have Bad Luck Fale.
Chase Owens. Chase Owens, I guess he could be in the tournament play-in thing. I guess.
Big Yoshi Hash.
Drilla, Dan Drilla Maloney. He could be in there.
Probably get them, huh?
Who else? Hanari, if he's able
Why
to
did you
return.
call
but no,
him
we're not.
Dan Drill the Maloney?
I like that his first name's Dan.
Right.
I think Hiromu is a legitimately great shout out. If we're going to
Hey,
see
you-
junior representation, I think Hiromu obviously makes the most sense.
I'd get his ass in there. This tournament needs it. This needs some star power.
Same thing with like Hanari in terms of injury list, but Jake Lee, if he's able to return.
Oh, you know what you? Oh dear God, Jake Lee in that B block. Oh God, oh
I'm gonna
God.
shoot myself.
I think I need it. I think I need it. I think I need it.
I don't think you do. I hate to say this, Scotty, but I don't think you do.
You know what? I'm gonna pick my 4 right now. Okay.
Hold on.
Right
Let me give the rest of the bit. Let me do the rest of the bit real quick.
Oh, okay.
Let's
Hartley Jackson, get that man in there.
I mean, I don't see any reason why Hartley Jackson should be in it, but sure.
Why not?
Because has he done anything this year? Other than
No, but he's awesome.
You know, I think Mad Mikey Nichols has a bigger shot than Hartley Jackson.
I don't even think Mad Mikey Nichols works for this company anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there.
That was the last time we saw him drop someone on their head.
Here's a great shout. Rohei Oiwa.
What the fuck? You just made me realize he's not in this.
Yeah, Rohei Oiwa, not in this. He's 100% got to be in that tournament.
Yeah, he's got to be in. If he doesn't get in, they have to shut this tournament down.
I'm
not even kidding.
I've seen so many posts and listen to podcasts where people are sort of like hinging Rohei Oiwa's progression so far on his performance in the G1, and he's not even in it. He's not even in it right now.
Oh my god. Okay, you know what my perfect world is to get in? Sorry, you done with the bit yet?
No, not yet. I'm almost done. Taichi, obviously, I think we already mentioned him. I'm going to throw in Templario. Why not? Who cares? Let's throw in Templario. Who else? There's some olds, obviously, like Togi Makamura.
Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah, I would welcome that in a heartbeat. Tomohiro Ishii. And I think that's actually it.
Yoshihashi.
Oh, and Yoshihashi. Yes.
All right. So here's my perfect 4 for my interest levels and no one else's. I don't care about anyone else. No offense. Hiromu. I'm putting Hiromu in. I just want to know what that looks like one time.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, Ryohei Oiwa.
Gotta be.
I can't believe he's not in this. The fact that you just told me that just broke my brain.
The internet would explode if he doesn't go in this.
Rightfully so, too, by the way. Ren Narita, lock, though. No Tetsuya Naito this year, and they couldn't give Oiwa a spot. They had to give Great Okan one. Okay. Taichi, give me the big man in there.
Yeah.
And my last one, I do love me some Yoshihashi.
Yoshihashi, always an option.
The thing about Yoshihashi, right, is you just know he's going to give you a solid match. And this tournament desperately needs that up and down, I think, mostly in one block.
I would love Yoshihashi in block A.
Well, I mean, if we're going to put him in the good block, absolutely.
But no, Yoshihashi versus Goto.
Yeah, I think we only getting one of him and Taichi, and that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Real sad. I'm gonna but my actual picks, by the way, who I think will get in are Callum Newman, Ryohei Oiwa, Hiromu Takahashi, and Taichi.
Yeah, I'm pretty locked in on that too. If I had to sub anyone out for anyone else, I mean, for some reason, like a fungus, you can't count out Chase Owens. He's going to be in the tournament. I don't think he'll get in, but if you want to, I think Drilla has a chance, but I think, they see more in Newman and want to give that to Newman more. But I mean, I think you're right. I think you're right on the money.
Leave if that makes them feel better.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think you're right on the money with those 4, in my opinion. Hiromu, Newman, Taichi, and Oiwa. What blocks do you want to put them in?
Give me Oiwa in block A if I had the choice, but he makes either block so much better.
Yeah. Hiromu. Where do we put Hiromu? That's an interesting.
B block needs
something.
Yeah.
He will throw
Yeah.
a chaotic wrench into B Block.
Right. Like B Block needs star power. I don't think any of those people besides Takeshita, maybe to us, are a star.
Sorry, Zach.
I am not taking back what I said.
I
So like I think that would probably like he could be there. This is gonna sound funny, but he could be their Tanahashi in terms of just star power in the block.
Yeah.
So I obviously again would rather literally everyone enter A block for my
personal
enjoyment.
enjoyment. But
Yeah.
what do they
I'm
need?
gonna guess Callum Newman's in A because Great Okan's in B.
Sure, that makes sense.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And then who's the other one? Taichi?
We said Taichi and
Oiwa and
Rohei.
Hiromu.
I'll probably put Taichi in B.
Yeah, they need veteran presence.
Yeah, a little more
That way
veteran
you get Takeshita versus Taichi. Take my money.
Yeah.
Take my money. He saves
then-
that block. Honestly, if Taichi was in B block, he'd be my second favorite wrestler in the block. Holy shit. That is where I'm at with a lot of these guys.
So we're saying Taichi and Hiromu in block B, and block A,
Callum
Newman,
Oiwa. Yeah, I think that works.
I think both of those are really great shouts, and both could actually. I think we leveled that out perfectly. I think you did.
Yeah.
You have some good logic there with all those people.
When it's Chase Owens and not Hiromu, I'll eat shit. But I think it should be. I think no. I think Chase. I don't think Chase Owens should work.
Freudian slip has a.
I don't think Chase Owens should work for this company anymore, let alone sniffing this tournament. Yeah, whatever. This is definitely a tournament. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I mean, block A is definitely interesting. I think
for sure
adding Newman and Oiwa, I think that adds a little juice, especially Oiwa. I think that adds a little juice. I need to see Oiwa interact with these.
Did they say if they were doing the playoff at the end again?
Playoff at the end of the tour?
You know how they did like the little, at the end of the G1 last year they did like the rounds.
Oh, I don't know. In this press release I'm looking at, it's just the entrance. They might have done it in a previous press release of talking about what they're going to do. Let's see if Wikipedia has it. They typically have some sort of like thing.
I'm going to guess if it's not instantly there, they didn't do it. Match schedule here. How about that?
Perfect. Yeah.
This isn't a match schedule. Are they high?
I don't think they have the schedules out. I think that's just like the dates of the shows is what they've announced so far.
Okay, I just want you to know the play-in match schedule. You know what? That's what I get for not reading.
Yeah, the play-in matches, of course, June 23rd in Korakuen Hall, and July 4th. You can celebrate America's birthday, or not America's birthday, but America's independence with
America, like
Taichi getting into the G1 or something.
I couldn't agree more with that, actually.
It's just Taichi saluting. Bum, 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 bum. He's riding a tank at the parade.
Taichi famously, by the way, hates America.
But it's gonna be interesting. We'll see who gets in. I think the four people we picked are really likely, and I think that they definitely. I don't think like whoever we add to the block A is going to add a significant amount of juice, but really anyone that we've added into block B, I think needs juice.
If they put Oiwa and Taichi in block A,
sure,
gonna be excited here.
But
they won't. So
I think with block B, like we're sort of talking about the plans, it has the most opportunity and most need for juice, and they could definitely have the ability to add some juice into that block to make it a little bit.
Juice Robinson,
a little bit. Maybe I would love that. I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say no whatsoever. Dominion. Let's talk about Dominion. Let's go.
Let's talk about Dominion.
I'll give you some quick POV thoughts about Dominion, Scotty.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Here we go. Lock in. Peep game.
Putting on my goggles to lock in.
Okay.
My VR goggles, and then I put my.
I thought you were raising the roof for a second. I was like, oh, I didn't know.
Ultimo Guerrero confirmed the G1 climax.
Hold on. What if we got Gran Guerrero in the G1? Have we considered this?
Have we?
No? Well, we should.
How often are people considering Gran Guerrero? And it's
not enough.
Not enough?
Not Enough. He got added to one of the shows in this upcoming week, and I got so happy. Thank you to Hechicero for switching teams. Anyways, let's lock in. Peep game. Did you watch the Young Lion match?
Yes, I did.
Oh, word. Katsuya Murashima and Shoma Kato defeated Daiki Nagai and Masatora Yasuda. 3 minutes, 15 seconds.
Another Young Lion match, typical fare. I thought it was good for what Young Lion matches are. Really, a lot of hip throws. They're really doing a lot of hip throws in that dojo. I was thinking about that. They were just doing a lot of hip throws, and I was thinking about Yuya Uemura has a really good one, hip toss. And I was just thinking to myself, is the current trainer at the dojo just teaching hip tosses all day? Because there's just a lot of them. I think they're very good. Daiki Nagai has a real good amount of energy and fervor behind what he does. There's something about him that reminds me of like Kosei Fujita in a weird way.
He's also actually young, so by the time he debuts, he won't be. But
well, by the time he debuts,
by the time he's a real wrestler, my apologies.
Yeah, by the time he debuts in the main roster, it'll be 10 years from now, Scotty.
On the main roster.
And then the other guy, I've spoken about him before. I do like this guy, Katsuya Murashima. He's the short, super stocky one. That people said like he kind of looks like Ishii. He just looks like Ishii because he's short and stocky. I really like him. I really like what I see out of him. The other guy, Shonma Kato and Masatora Yasuda. That was like I think the first time I saw them.
Yasuda?
Is Yasuda what?
Says he's a freelancer.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Isn't he? I thought is he not a Young Lion?
I mean, he was wearing the trunks. I don't know. Maybe this was his debut, and I didn't know that. I don't know.
Oh well, he was born in Mexico.
Really?
For a cage match.
It's fun. Yeah, I mean, he's.
I wonder where they're going to send him on excursion.
Probably Rev Pro is my guess. I'm joking. Just typical Young Lion stuff. We don't have to talk about it.
Now let's really start the show off hot now. House of Torture.
Yeah.
Red Narita, Sonata, Yujiro Takahashi, and the newest member, X Don Fale, defeated the Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, Taiji Ishimori, and Chase Owens, who also joined the House of Torture
during the match.
Because my golly, what is worse than one bad member joining the House of Torture? Two.
Look, I'll give you some props here, Scotty, because in a way you were kind of accurate in your prediction. You sort of thought it would have been a Chase Owens defection a la Cody Rhodes Night of Champions 2009 or something like that. You were thinking that like that X would have been Chase Owens, I think is what.
Yeah, I thought, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah, and in a way, you were wrong because the X was in fact Don Fale, which is not any better.
Don Fale is way better for different reasons. Continue.
But then in a way, you were also right because he did in fact defect to House of Torture during the match. Just the match just has Fale and Chase Owens, just a lot of bad wrestling, and who really gives a shit what's happening here?
Do you know what House of Torture is now?
6 minutes long, so nothing really of note happens in here. I will say, look, Scotty, I'll give props where props are due. I thought the sequence of Chase Owens turning on War Dogs was done well. It was like there was good speed and fervor. Sonata's going to hit the guitar on Dan Maloney. He goes to hit it. Chase Owens stops Sonata, takes the guitar away from Sonata, throws the guitar over to Drilla so that he can use it. Chase Owens then grabs Sonata by the arms from behind or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? To prep him to get hit in the head with the guitar. While Dan Maloney is going for the swing, Chase throws Sonata out of the way and then kicks Dan Maloney in the balls. And it was just very smoothly executed that I was like, well, you're not going to give him that. That was well done. That was well executed. But other than that, I mean, this match was only here to showcase that Fale and Chase Owens are now in House of Torture. And there was people that obviously, I think for fair reason, shitting on the show because of that booking. But look, this was basically, not counting the Young Lion thing, the first match on the show. It's 6 minutes long. I do not give a shit about it. People were genuinely upset about all this booking, and I'm sort of sitting here like, who gives a shit? It's the opener of the show. this is
they ruined the house, man.
This is just like plot, like, well, we're just showcasing that we're moving people around.
Well, I'm gonna be upset about it because they ruined the house.
That's I think that's fair.
The house was special to me, man.
The house
and
has
they added the 2 worst possible members.
So many people are in the house right now. It's crazy.
Just the new Bullet Club in New Japan's eyes.
Yeah,
that's
Japanese member Bullet Club.
Fucking Chase Owens is in it now. It doesn't matter.
Well, he's also a Tongan. He's a honorary Tongan.
Wow. WWE. Did you hear that? Anyway,
Chase Owens a part of the bloodline.
TMDK Ryo and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated El Phantasmo and Shota Umino. So who got the pin here?
I believe it was. I want to say it was Sabre pinning Umino. Yeah, I want to say it was Sabre that pinned Umino in this match.
Great.
I went like 2.5 on it. It is like, it's a match that 2.5 to me is like a match that's like kind of forgettable, but like still kind of good. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like bad, but it was just kind of like, who gives a shit? So
that's definitely the first thing that came to my mind. Who does give a shit?
It was just a lot of like fine to good wrestling and 11 minutes, and it kind of just flew by. And it's one of those matches like, who kind of cares?
Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Yuya Uemura.
So slightly confusing pinfall sequence because it almost came off like a botched finish because Tanahashi does a roll up on Yuya Uemura and gets the 1, 2, 3, and then Uemura like immediately bounces up and then like immediately goes for his own pin and everything. It almost read like a botched finish. I don't think it was. I think it was just solely just kind of awkward and meant to be sudden, and that was what it's meant to be portrayed. But it wasn't. Tanahashi just getting right up and like kind of just being normal Tanahashi again. Kind of made it seem like it was a botch or a mistake. 9-minute, 30-second match. Again, it's one of those matches. It's just like I went 2.5. It was like whatever, solid work for what Tanahashi is at this point, and then the weird finish. It was just kind of a very extremely awkward finish of like. That quick wall up of Tanahashi getting the win. It's fine. I'm looking at this, and then I look at the G1 Climax tournament, Scotty, and I'm like, okay, Yuya Uemura is beating Tanahashi in the tournament. Great.
Yes.
That's a certified lock.
IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title match. Kanemaru was sick or injured or something.
No, he wasn't. He came out in a sling.
See, he was. He was hurt. I don't know what you're talking about. He was hurt.
He came out in a sling.
Are you questioning his integrity?
He came out in a sling. Show said that Kanemaru is injured, and that he has a new partner, and he's getting replaced. Yeah. Out comes Doki. Last we left off, Scotty, Doki was the big baby face of the junior division. Well, maybe not the big baby. Maybe not the big baby face. Hiromu was around, but big time star. One of them, for sure. In the junior division, gets injured. Champ, in fact, gets injured 5 minutes into his Wrestle Kingdom match. Yeah, which really sucks. Breaks his arm.
Yeah,
and now his return is coming back as a heel for the heel faction. Vince McMahon style, getting subbed in instead of another wrestler who's not actually injured. Of course, you did a bit, but not actually injured. Just gets subbed in just because for heel heat. Very Vince McMahon booking. And then go on to win the titles from Master Wato and Yo. I believe it was in fact Doki who was doing the submissions to get the win here. So really insane. Really insane.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
Obviously, I like Evil. Doesn't mean I have to like everything else.
Sure.
That comes with it.
I
think Doki joining House of Torture is mind-bogglingly stupid.
Yeah. Look, Scott,
especially after what they did earlier in the night.
I can ignore Fale and Chase Owens. To me, that's like whatever. Who gives a shit about them?
They're never here.
They're never here, especially Fale. Who gives a shit about them, right? Doki, though, is where I personally draw the line. And the way they did that, you gotta be kidding me with
It
this.
doesn't make sense.
No, no. I was reading a review. Looking at a review just to see what other people's opinions were, see what the street said. It was the Voice of Wrestling review done by Suit Williams, and he wrote about the next match of the tag title match. He said, "Why didn't Great Khan just come out, say that he was injured, and then Templario comes out to replace him, and then all three of them beat up the champions or beat up Ishii and Taichi, and then just win the match? Because that's what we did in the first one. You know
They're not heels. Duh.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the logic is gone just so that we can get heel heat. Kanemaru, who is okaying Kanemaru can't be in it. Doki's going to replace him and then allow that to happen. You know what I mean? In terms of the logic of like, this is a sports presentation wrestling promotion. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
That was a real American pro wrestling gimmick. Yeah, I don't know. I would have had like Yo join. We were gonna do something stunning.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yo and show together. Yeah, that's bad.
The match is
Doki,
fine,
I have no interest in heel Doki. But
especially in this faction where there's a billion people in it.
But also good time for me to say the house always wins. So screw you, everybody.
Look at the juniors in House of.
It should have been Ishimori. Ishimori legitimately should have been the one.
I agree.
If you were gonna add a junior. Anyways, what?
You look at the juniors of House of Torture. You got Doki, you got Sho, and you got Kanemaru. Like
that's real wrestlers right there.
Unless Kanemaru is like actually not wrestling and retiring soon, right? How old is he? He is 48 years old. Then like, what are we doing? Because right now, Scotty, it feels like the act of this junior tag title reign is going to be Doki and Sho, and then Kanemaru is like their manager on the sidelines, faking injury, to draw heat, and then just sort of like foregoing the fucking sling that he had on.
You should go all in on Cowboy Bob Orton type brace.
I agree. That I actually legitimately fully agree with. He should come out.
The moment I brought up the 1970s, Ryan was in.
He should. He should. I mean, the problem is he had a sling, so I guess they're saying his shoulders.
We can lie. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, put a cast on and just have Kanemaru spraying people with whiskey and then decking them with a cast.
I think it works.
I think that's a great idea. That's a great bit.
This is why I'm a better booker than Gato and Rocky Romero.
That's way better than just like wearing a sling and then taking it off.
So yeah, for sure.
Goddamn.
IWGP Tag Title match: Taichi and Tomohiro Ishii win. They defeat Cal Newman and Great Khan. Congratulations to the old guys.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good match. Actually, this was the first really good match. This is the first good match on the show.
I was gonna say, buddy, we haven't had a good one yet, based on what you said.
I guess other than counting the opener Young Lion match, which I thought was good for Young Lion matches.
A lot of people have said the show is bad, so this was tracking pretty well.
Yeah, I did see people saying that this was the worst show of the year contender up until the main event. And I mean, I'm going to immediately push back because WWE has been having that on lock for me basically all year.
I think when people say that, they mean companies they care about.
Yeah, and I think if you want to say like New Japan specific, yeah, this is probably worst show of the year for New Japan specifically.
Not great since it's Dominion. Continue.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. You talk about this with like some of the award stuff. Is like when you look at like worst show of the year contenders, you're also looking at like things that are set up to matter.
Yes.
and like important matches or important events.
Yes.
That the expectation is higher, and then when they're as bad, it's worse.
Yeah, because I saw people talking about that. Like, I saw someone say like the junior tag match could be like a worst match of the year contender. I was like, yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree.
So like that match being 10 minutes and being whatever cannot beat for me. This is just a for instance. Leave me alone. But it can't beat like John Moxley versus Edge. That first time, like that was more important. That had more meaning. That I actually cared about. This, I don't give a shit about this.
Yeah. And
like that's what matters.
I thought the work was fine, right, for what it was. But like, because really, what makes that match suck is
People were just drained by Doki.
it's the Doki reveal and the crappy booking. Like I know conversations have already started on the interwebs, on the streets, Scotty, on the interstreets.
The streets are
But
always going.
we, after this show and with the House of Torture and a lot of and honestly, the booking of the show in terms of story beats, kind of crazy. Like I'm fine with some of these with the title changes and whatnot, but like some of the booking here is just sort of like you gotta start questioning Gato and how much we have to give, how much more leeway we have to give him.
Way ahead of you. You've been doing that for a long time. Bushiroad fails. LOL. Anyways, I think you can watch this show, right? And here's, I think, the multitudes of problems that I'm going to give you, and you can react. The multitude of problems here, right, is that House of Torture as is was perfect.
I think, I do think they would
fit the role they were in,
small,
and what they were
small
doing.
group,
right? Because you can still have enough people to run in. Now it's reaching like ruin the company bad.
It is now. There are like 4 factions. There are 2 small groups, the War Dogs and TMDK, and then like there is House of Torture, which has like 12 billion people in it. Has like late stage NWO members, number of members in it, and then everyone else is like in Hantai.
Right, which is lame.
Agreed.
Because they're making them essentially the Bullet Club now, by just tossing all these different people in. And I don't think that fits what House of Torture should be, truthfully, based on where they've reached, especially the past year or so. And I definitely don't think that's where New Japan needs right now. And they have mixed it all together to make people incredibly down. And it's hard to look at this and be like, wow, they were really cooking with that booking. This entire show is poorly booked.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just looking at Cage Match and I can see how poorly booked it is. Right, like watching it, you can learn that more. That being said, Taichi and Tomohiro Ishii, that's one of the best things they did on this entire show, because I said they should win the tag belts. Let the old guys run. No, get Taichi in the G1 for the love of God.
There are now 10 people in the House of Torture. If you want to count, of course, Dick Togo and Kanemaru, who was injured, quote unquote. 10 people. Before this show, it was 7, and Sonata was pushing it. But I think he was able to like work it back around to like, okay,
and there's history there.
Yeah,
right. Like that worked for me. Everything else, like, what the frick, dude? Never open weight title match. We're just gonna stop talking about House of Torture because we're gonna talk about them again in 2 seconds. Bolton Oleg defeats Konosuke Takeshita to become the new never open weight champion.
Yeah, this match was really good. Shocker. Oleg Bolton did a really good performance. Takeshita obviously really great as well. Coming out in new white gear.
Baby.
Scotty, the moment he walked out, new gear, all new, like all white jacket for him.
You said to yourself, why are you in AEW? You should be the ace of this promotion, buddy.
Well, and feeling that, like, in the preview being like, I feel like Oleg Bolton's gonna win this, and obviously he did end up winning this. I saw that new gear. I thought to myself that Takeshita's losing this, and then I looked back at the G1 Climax blocks and said, okay, Konosuke Takeshita is winning the G1.
Wow.
He is in block B, and if he's, it's typically the other block from the champion.
Yeah.
Then who is the best person to pay? I'm not putting Zach. I'm not putting Shingo. No one else deserves that spot. Looking at you, Shota Umino.
Right now, I have him losing to Yota Tsuji.
In the finals. I mean, I'm not going to be upset about that either. But
no, I know you're not.
I mean, Takeshita really. I'm looking at that like, let's put Takeshita in the fucking.
To me, the problem is they don't give unless he's committing to like full time, it ain't happening.
Well, I mean, they put it on Moxley and everything. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but winning the G1 is more important than winning the title.
Yeah,
in terms of how New Japan books.
Sure. Right now, especially right now.
Yeah, like the G1 always goes to their guy.
Yes.
Whoever they want to be their guy. Trust me, I love Takeshi won the tournament. Would not be upset, but I like that him and Bolton Oleg did the damn thing again. That's always wonderful.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bolton Oleg, by the way, getting his first singles title. Obviously, this dude rules. I didn't even see the match, but I know this dude rules because
it was really good. I mean, cage match, not a lot of votes in it, but I saw that had like a 7, 8, and 9 for votes for it. So it was really good.
Pretty good.
I think I went 3.5, but I'm flirting in my head with 3 3/4.
Ooh.
It was probably the best Oleg Bolton match of his career so far, in his short career so far. So yeah, I mean, go check it out for sure. Good, really, really good match. Yeah, just I don't know. I don't have really much to say other than it was really good, and the result is more interesting for me than the match itself. Of just like, oh, okay, Takeshi is now free and clear to win the G1 Climax.
Yeah, that is love. That's what had to happen. That
Mm-hmm.
needed to. That was part of the process. So the matter that it happened, good start.
Yeah.
Anyways, next up we had the dog collar death match. Evil with Chase Owens, Nick Togo, Don Fale, Doki, Ren Narita, Sonata, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi defeated David Finlay. I just need to read all those names. Holy shit, 23 minutes.
This was such a slow plotting brawl. They did have some. They did have some solid spots. I did enjoy the inventiveness of David Finlay throwing Evil on the outside of ringside, throwing Evil into the corner post, and then jumping into the ring, sliding into the ring and out so that he can use the chain and wrap Evil around the post of the ring. I thought that was a fun little bit, and then just like beat him up while he's there. I thought it was a fun little bit. Yeah, it was just very kind of slow and plotting, and then you get to the sort of bad House of Torture stuff, Scotty. And then we're gonna
with all those names.
Yeah,
guarantee.
We're then going to knock out the referee in a no DQ match, and then we're gonna get in and do table spots. Fale did a splash off the top, not the top rope. God no, off the middle rope to Finlay through a table. And just like we're just gonna do all version of stuff, and then Evil's gonna win, and it's whatever. It is just like this was extremely slow, boring, and
the
overdosed.
Opposite of what we hoped for.
Yeah. If this match was truly just Evil and David Finlay one-on-one without any of these other people ringside, it could have been better. Yeah. But then it was like, okay. I mean, even then, it could have been like let's say you ignore all the stuff earlier in the show. There's no Fale, there's no Doki, and Chase Owens is still in the War Dogs. That's what you then have. Dick Togo. You have Ren Narita, Sonata, Sho, and Kanemaru, and Yoshinobu and Yujiro Takahashi. That's 6 people in Evil's corner. You got David Finlay. You got Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, Gato, Taiji Shimori, and Chase Owens. That's 5. You can do sort of a sequence where people are coming out and then like War Dogs are coming out to stop them. They did that with like LIJ and House of Torture a bunch, right? You could have done that. Instead, it was 9 versus 4. And War Dogs just got like trampled with. And like, really, it's like after this night, after Dominion, it is House of Torture is so overbearing and such an anchor now that all the goodwill that War Dogs have started building up over the past 6 months, is sort of just like, all right, and then Evil wins. And they just got outnumbered and they lost.
I think what's funny about this entire show is like all the goodwill that multiple people built up, gone all in one night.
And that's how I tee up the semi-main event, by the way.
That's speaking of goodwill, people, or lack thereof now. Gabe Kidd defeats Yota Tsuji to win the IWGP Global Heavyweight title, repping the Death Riders.
Yeah, I don't know
how he's part of the War Dogs.
He is, yeah. He was wearing both, I believe. Yeah, look, I don't know how to read into that at all because, it's how do I read that? Is he a member of the AEW roster? No. Does he have a contract for AEW? I don't think so. Is he a Death Rider because he puts the emblem on his attire? Probably, I guess.
So that reminds me. I saw someone, I don't remember who. So I'm sorry if you actually like me and I'm calling you out, but that's fine. I saw someone defending the idea that he's only supporting the Death Riders and not AEW, and I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, the fact he appeared in the company was enough. Then he joined a faction. That was also enough.
That was also literally the storyline reason they gave, is that, like, he said, Gabe Kidd, I believe in an interview said, or promo segment, said that he hates AEW and wants it to burn to the ground or whatever. He's a madman, you know. And that's and that's the same thing that the Death Riders want to do with AEW. So that's why they're aligned. And that's legitimately a solid logical reason for me to make sense. But you're right. The meta bit of him going in AEW at all is an issue. Now,
he did this to himself at the end of the day, so I can't really feel that bad. Oh, I don't at all, actually. Thank you for asking.
I will say, if I were to push back on the sort of dunking on Gabe Kidd with all of this,
buddy, I will dunk on Gabe Kidd until I die.
He did show up in AEW months ago, and no one said really anything about it. And in fact, people were like, "Oh, that's cool. Gabe Kidd's doing a match in AEW Collision, like in February, wherever it was."
Yeah.
No one batted an eye. And then the moment he gets involved in the Samoa Joe thing and seemingly aligns with the Death Riders, and then does ultimately one match in the company since in that period.
Yeah,
people have been dunking on him nonstop. And in some ways, it's like, I think it's a little too much, but in other ways, I'm like, it's justified.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that Gabe Kidd showing up in Collision was after the Omega match.
Yeah, this timing has nothing to do with the same. I understand why Blake Monroe went to WWE. Anyways, let's continue.
The match itself was good, other than all other than the Death Riders AEW stuff. We just
other than all the stuff that took a lot of the heat away from it.
Yeah, I don't know how to process that, so we're just gonna throw that out the door right now. The match was really good. I really enjoyed watching it. Gabe Kidd did a lot more like high flying spots than I expected. It was really weird. I mean, it was good. Like, he performed them well, but it was just like he just did a lot more than I would have expected from Gabe Kidd. And I almost wanted more of that heavy hitting action. You still got that in there. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was very close. And still a very strong match. I don't think it was as good as Bolton Takeshita. I don't think it was as good as Oleg Bolton versus Konosuke Takeshita. But it was up there. I mean, I think it's battling third or fourth best match compared to the tag titles, you know. So it was still very strong. I really liked it as well.
That sounds like a massive disappointment to me.
I mean, what were you expecting? A 5-star classic?
Well, based on their first one that everyone calls a match of the year contender, probably a little bit better. Yeah,
that's probably fair. That's probably fair. What did I give their last one? Let's see. What did I give
that match? Got rated cage match. Don't fail me now. 9.03 and 5 stars from Dave. So yeah, I'm gonna say
what are you, pretty 5-star classic? Yes,
there were some high standards for this match.
Yeah, I was lower. I went 4 on that one. I went 4 on their match. I was lower than everybody else. And here I am on this match, and I went 3.5. So I guess for me that tracks. But I think for the rest of the world who liked that match a lot more than I did, that would make sense then that that is more of a disappointment. So yeah, I guess that makes sense, Scotty. But yeah, you know, I thought it was really good, fun stuff, but there's definitely an elephant in the room, and I think that Kidd and Tsuji did a good enough job to get away from that elephant in the room for them. Like, I think they were like 80% got the elephant out of the room. Still there, still very present. But they did a really good job to start you so that the people in attendance started forgetting all that stuff, you know?
Yeah. All right. in your title match, IWGP World Heavyweight Title match, Hiroki Goto defeats Shingo Takagi.
I mean, this ruled. This ruled. This was
This didn't rule. We were gonna have problems, Jim.
Two of like the same kind of wrestler of just like we're just gonna go out and like hit people super hard and have a hard hitting and drop people on their head and all these sort of stuff. It ruled. I loved it. It took me a little bit to get into it, but once I was into it, I was super into it. There was a point where like Goto, knocks Shingo down with a lariat or something, whatever it was, and then Goto, they just have like sort of like a medium shot from a side angle on Goto, and he's just like shakes his head and then like spits up in the air, I think. And when he spits up in the air, you just see like a glob of like blood come out of his mouth, and that was the point where I was like, oh yeah, baby, this shit rules. Yeah, I mean, this was exactly what you would think on the tin. This is Goto and Shingo, two bombers hitting bombs over each other. Maybe I shouldn't say that anymore. Maybe I should cut that out of the audio. Goto and Shingo were just doing a really good job of hard hitting action. Like I said, dropping people on their heads, and yeah, this is the best match. I saw a lot of people saying that this saved the show. I thought the show was a little bit better than I think people were sort of saying it as, but this match definitely 100% best match on the show, without a doubt.
Good. Hiroki Goto saves New Japan again.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Shingo was going to win this title, but what we got here was a great match. So you can easily fly in, see this, and be like, okay, this was great. Go check this out.
Nice flop of a show, New Japan. Good job, guys.
That's where I'm not gonna say flop. I'm not gonna go as far as say flop because the main event was great.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of Wrestle Kingdom.
No, I think that's fair. I think that might be fair. Well, I don't know. The rest of the Wrestle Kingdom was. I'm trying to remember what was that card.
It was good.
I feel like the rest of the Wrestle Kingdom was
maybe
pretty good. Let me see if I can look at that card.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just kind of Yota Tsuji and David Finlay.
Shingo versus Takeshita.
Doki and Desperado had the injury. Oh, I don't know.
Naito versus Hiromu was.
Hiroshi and Tanahashi and Evil was fun.
Yeah.
Mayu Nazumi was fun. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I think the rest of the card for Wrestling Kingdom was better than the rest of the show. I gave a lot of 2-star range matches of this on Dominion.
That's not good.
Yeah, let me see.
I would argue that's bad.
Yeah, let me see where it ranks on my show listing so far. Out of 51 shows, full shows that I've seen, I have it ranked 31. I have it basically the same rating as Worlds Collide for WWE.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good thing.
And right above that,
Dominion.
Right above Dominion was Noah's The New Year show.
I did pop myself thinking your entire top 30 is AEW. Anyways, continue.
That is just double checking and verifying. Yes, that is my worst rated New Japan show for sure. I have like the next lowest from there for New Japan is a night 3 of Best of Super Juniors. And then from there is Windy City Riot, New Beginning Osaka, Fantastica Mania Night 7, Best of Super Juniors Night 4, Resurgence, I'm almost done. Wrestle Kingdom 19, Sakura Genesis, Fantastica Mania Night 8, Battle in the Valley, and then Wrestle Dynasty.
I applaud you for ranking all your shows.
Yeah, I appreciate it. In case you're wondering, the worst show of the year so far for me, the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show.
Yeah, no, that checks out.
Bad show.
That's bad.
And in case you're wondering, right above it, GCW, The People versus GCW. Not the Spring Break show, the other one that I saw. That was the Manhattan show, right?
Hammerstein.
That show sucked ass.
Yeah, I mean, looking back,
do you remember a single second of?
I didn't watch it.
Oh yeah, you did.
The People versus GCW. You know why? Because I value my time.
Speaking of valuing our time, I know we got it hard out because it is Father's Day. Let's move on and talk about CMLL. It is CMLL week in Mexico week if you want to catch AAA, but who cares? It is CMLL. They have a bunch of shows here. In a way, 4 tapings, we'll say. I don't know when the Ring of Honor aspect of things are showing. I assume next week. I don't know. But Ring of Honor is also filming an episode of their television streaming show. But we are getting a good amount of.
Why does Ring of Honor exist?
Why?
Yeah.
To train talent, I guess. Right? I feel like that's what it exists.
Who has come from Ring of Honor that's been trained that's a consistent part of AEW television?
I mean, I gotta look at the AEW roster because I'm really bad at remembering things. Let's see. Okada was in Ring of Honor. No. I mean, I'm not gonna count Bandito. The problem is like so many of the people in Ring of Honor got put down to Ring of Honor to bolster it and then left. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. It feels like it's meant for training, but you're right. But also the training is so slow. So in AEW, so I don't know. It feels like that's what it's meant for. I guess Billy Starks would probably be like the first person up.
It was crazy.
What's that?
Athena's still there. Anyways, move on.
That's why I said it's training, because at a certain point I was like, maybe she's just there to help make the women better wrestlers. At this point. Gotta question things,
For sure. All right, let's talk about the cards.
CMLL, their Monday show in Arena Mexico, of course. Not Monday, this Tuesday in Arena Mexico.
Populares.
Yes, indeed. The card is as follows, and I believe this is all the order. And I also believe that all of the shows, obviously except for Ring of Honor, because that's going to be on streaming service, and Dynamite will be on television. But CMLL, all of their shows you can watch on, or I believe all of these 2 shows that we're going to talk about for CMLL proper are going to be on YouTube. Definitely the Friday show. They're going to be on YouTube.
Yeah, the show is too.
I believe $35 is the membership that will get you those 2 shows. So for $35, you can watch those shows and, everything else that CMLL has put out in the past year, plus the rest of the month for that membership. So this Tuesday show is as follows. Well, I guess what we'll do, Scotty, is we'll just sort of not go match by match, but maybe we'll go match by match in Dynamite. No, we might just do the whole card. I'll just say the whole card. Red Velvet versus Persephone. The CMLL World Tag Team titles are on the line. Los Hermanos Chavez versus The Crew. Action Andretti and Leo Rush. Singles match, Hologram versus Neon. Then you have singles match, Josh Alexander versus Atlantis Jr. That gets me going. Battle of the Blue right there for some reason.
The semi-main event change if you're going off a cage match.
Yes, semi-main event is no longer Averno, Hechicero, and Ultimo Guerrero versus the Don Callis family of Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Rocky Romero. Hechicero has officially defected to the Don Callis family, which is a very fun new bit of information for me, Scotty. So the replacement here, I believe, if I heard you correctly, is instead of Hechicero, it's going to be Gran Guerrero.
So it's going to be Gran Guerrero and Euphoria, and then Hechicero will be on the Don Callis family side,
making it an 8-man.
As a guy that loves Gran Guerrero and Euphoria, I'm very happy.
Yeah, he's a better Euphoria than the TV show.
Also, Hechicero is the one that took Euphoria's mask, so little tidbit there for this match as well.
Yeah, I guess that means he's officially no longer a member of Los Infernales. So
yeah, good time to remind you.
Raise the roof, baby. That's a fun. I think that's a really fun semi-main event for all this for a little bit. Rocky Romero obviously in here as well. CMLL, loving it. And then of course the main event. So many good matches on here so far. The main event for the Ring of Honor World Title: Bandito versus Mascara Dorada.
There is. It's perfect. It's perfect. Like if you could have asked for anything from it's this. This is beautiful. It's perfect. I'm so happy. I love it. It's just everything. And here, I'm gonna book something crazy for you.
Please.
Lock in peep game.
Put my goggles on, put on my haptic gloves. I'm locking in VR goggles.
Mascara Dorada wins.
Ooh.
To set up a rematch in Texas.
Yeah. Right. Day before all in Texas.
Bandito can win it back.
Yeah.
Simple, easy booking. gets you 2 matches out of it, gets you a big win in Mexico for Dorada
Yep.
in his home turf. I think it works. And
I
more importantly, we get 2 matches out of it.
Yeah, obviously we haven't seen this match yet, so I imagine the chemistry will be good. But yeah, I'm fully down with that idea, Scotty. I would love that. I mean, obviously, the AEW on their TV has showcased Dorada twice
Mm,
now, especially
mhm.
in that 4-way with Kenny Omega. So it's not out of the question that Dorada wins the Ring of Honor World Title here. I truly don't think it's out of the question. And putting
Let's
the
all
win
go, baby.
in Arena Mexico in the main event, and then doing it again in Texas feels like the perfect like cup of coffee esque title reign to do
Mhm.
to showcase Dorada a little bit more to the U.S. audience.
Give me all of it now. I can't
Mhm.
wait for this show. This show on paper might be my favorite of the week.
I think you're probably right. I mean, this match. I
I
mean,
like all of them,
I
admittedly.
think yeah, every match gets the juice flowing. I mean, hologram versus neon alone. That's real fun. That is real fun. I mean, I'm a big fan of Josh Alexander versus Lannis. Even Persephone versus Red Velvet. I'm like, all right,
A
that's
good
pretty
one.
good. That's a nice little
Persephone's
opener.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Persephone, sadly, I think is the next person to get signed away. So
that's
that's
actually that's a good thing that we should have as a side tangent, and I'm glad you brought it up. This is in the time of WWE and AAA, and what is happening in Mexico with these companies.
mm,
There is probably some concern with any wrestler any CMLL wrestler that does really well in this
mm,
week, because you know for a fact, well, I don't know if WWE will watching the CMLL shows, but you know for a fact that like WWE will be watching Dynamite and everything, and they will
yeah.
pick up whoever they can get after this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is going to be a week of meant to showcase Mexican fans to American audiences, Mexican wrestlers to American audiences, vice
Mm.
versa. And that is exactly what WWE is trying to do. And if they can steal CML talent, it will be after this week. And I
If we
fear
can
that
base
it's going to start happening.
we can base anything off of history, they actually only care when anyone's face is Mercedes Moné, so we might be fine.
That's a fair point. that is a fair counterpoint. So
Uh.
to that degree, Zeuxis, come on down. Yeah.
Jeez.
We'll see what happens after this week, but I'm not on red alert. I'm on orange alert, I guess.
You're on alert.
I'm on alert. My eyes are peeled for anyone having a
Locked in.
great performance.
Oof.
Geez. But yeah,
Good point.
that's the Tuesday show. That should be a very good show. I mean, I'm probably gonna watch every single match on that show. I mean, I think every single match will deliver. So check it out.
Now Grand Slam Mexico.
Well, we'll do Grand Slam Mexico
We
first.
need before.
I was gonna do Ring of Honor just because I had it load up in my tabs, but we'll do
Oh,
that.
well, you could say Ring of Honor. It's 2 matches. Hey, Blue Panthers facing Lee Moriarty and
Athena.
Athena and Billy Starks are facing Thunder Rosa and Persephone. You're welcome.
Yeah, I think those are legitimately 2 very good
Fun.
matches that I would also
We
watch.
should add something sick to that show. Just out of this world craziness.
I'm like weirdly upset that Blue Panther versus Lee Moriarty isn't for the pure title, but I also understand why it's not. No, it's not. It's just a straight singles.
Good. Blue Panther can win.
I think that's exactly why. I think it's either that or they don't. Blue Panther has no interest in learning the rules for that gimmick. So
I couldn't blame him. That would be the realest thing of all time. So this show, whatever this show is, the Ring of Honor show is getting taped Tuesday. So you can kind of start to figure out like what CML wrestlers aren't wrestling on Dynamite. Maybe they'll be on this.
that's a good shout. So let's look at the wrestlers who are wrestling on Dynamite. AEW Dynamite Grand Slam Mexico, of course, happening on.
This doesn't look like Arena Mexico doesn't look like a tennis place.
Apparently, it is.
Anyone?
Was that what Australia place wasn't a tennis place?
Well, I mean, originally it was in a stadium to begin with. I don't remember if that was tennis or not.
Yeah, we cannot rehash that show.
I mean, I'll be happy to rehash it. Remember when Tony Storm won the world title from Mariah May in it? Remember when I don't remember anything else.
Remember
Anyways.
that great tag match with Omega and Ospreay versus Takeshi?
Oh yeah. Remember when they had to change buildings because they couldn't sell enough tickets and we just acted like nothing happened.
Remember, well, wasn't also another end result of that was, I think it was like AEW or Tony Khan saying that like because they got paid obviously by the Australian government. They're like, they told us to run that building and we didn't want to. We were like,
they were correct.
They're correct. AEW Dynamite Grand Slam Mexico this Wednesday on Dynamite, 2.5 hour show.
This is the only show that could make me catch up on AEW beforehand.
Hey, it's a good show. I mean, a lot of multi-mans, but but I digress.
Yeah, a little too much.
A little too many multi-mans, but we'll get the singles
but everyone wants to wrestle in Arena Mexico. I can't get mad at that.
Mark Briscoe versus Kazuchika Okada, non-title. Mark Briscoe, his new character is fighting all the champions in non-title matches just because he simply wants to beat their ass. That is a quote.
That's my guy right there.
That's the GOAT. That's the GOAT. That's a quote from the GOAT.
We don't have enough Mark Briscoe in our lives. I'll say that forever. He doesn't get paid enough money. And that will remain true. I hate that he obviously has to lose all these matches, but you know what? He's just there to kick some ass. He doesn't care if he wins.
Yeah, I think that's fine by me.
Wild that this match is happening in Arena Mexico, by the way. Just think about it.
Look, as much as we all want to complain and nitpick, and
I have literally nothing to complain about for this show.
No, I'm talking about AEW in general.
Oh, as a whole? No, that's fine.
Yeah. The fact that a American company is working with CMLL and they are doing a show in Arena Mexico for their TV, and the match that they're doing is Mark Briscoe, Ring of Honor legend, versus New Japan legend Kazuchika Okada, is partly to me why AEW is a really cool promotion. Like, this is a really cool match that it is like if you told me that this match was happening 3 years ago, I would be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, that's fair. My most anticipated match is the next one.
Next one here for 4 million pesos, a high flying.
Which, by the way, $210,000.
Do you think Tony Khan is going to pay that out?
$210,950 to be exact, actually, which makes it 10 times funnier. Do I think he'll pay it out? Yeah, I think that's like him wiping his ass. That's how much. That's like he has so much money that won't affect him. You know,
that's a great.
That's a billionaire situation. I wouldn't know. For him, that's like giving $5 for a coffee. For me, that's selling my entire life because I wouldn't be able to live for the next couple of years.
People do not understand how big $1 billion is. Like, I think like the average person can kind of wrap their head around like how much money $1 million is.
Yeah.
No one can wrap their head about how much money $1 billion is.
No, this isn't even a dent. This isn't even like a scuff.
Yeah.
Let alone a dent. This is nothing. He could pay this money and not be like, huh, where'd my allowance for my dog go? You know, like that's, I don't know if he has a dog. If he gives his dog that much a week, I will be his dog. There you go.
That is the quote of the day, folks. Quote of the day.
I am here,
Scotty
of the day, and nothing more.
How do I quickly Photoshop Scotty's head on that new Sabrina Carpenter album picture?
No one wants to see that. Anyways,
I'll be in Canva real quickly.
Thank you. What's the match?
The match, of course, yes, is Lio Rush, hologram, Mascara Dorada, potentially Ring of Honor champion Mascara Dorada, and of course, show some love, Ricochet.
Show some love. He's winning. Congrats on the pesos. This match is gonna be awesome. This one was added, and I just clapped. I just sat there and was like, "This is the type of shit I want on these shows. This is gonna get nice 10 minutes. It's gonna be awesome. That's what it's all about."
Yeah, this is legitimately. I'm very excited for this match. This is you're right. Probably the most exciting match on the entire card. This is a high flying bonanza. This should honestly open.
I agree. I agree.
I don't know if it will. I don't know if the card I'm reading is like in order.
I doubt it.
But we'll see how it goes. Next up is 12-man tag team match here. 12 man. Jesus
Polar
Christ.
bears in a meme, whatever the fuck that meme is. You know, like
Polar
the polar
bears
bear
in a meme. He said.
polar bear in like Ohio. You know, like out of place people here. The first name I read is Adam Cole. Adam Cole in Arena Mexico isn't the first thing I think of.
Okay. All right. I was like, what?
Listen, I'm just saying shit today. None of it makes sense. That's why I'm here. I made myself a dog, you know.
All right. Adam Cole. Adam
Personal.
Cole, Atlantis Jr., Bandito, Brody King, Daniel Garcia, and Templario. What a team.
Daniel Garcia is a real odd man out here too. Okay.
They will be taking on the team of FTR, Dax and Cash of FTR, Hechicero, and the Don Callis family, which really, I mean, come on. Hechicero cage match. Hechicero's got to be part of the Don Callis family. Hechicero, Josh Alexander, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher.
I mean, this should be very good.
I agree.
There's a lot of good parts here.
There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good here that I really enjoy. And I think it should be a
Daniel Garcia didn't make the top 30 under 30, right?
No, he did not.
That was the right choice. Continue.
Oh boy. I saw someone say that
we should show some love for Ricochet. I agree.
No, I get that maybe once a day from you at this point, which again, folks, longtime listeners of the show, not even long time, short time listeners of the show should would really appreciate hearing that Scotty is full on a 180 on Ricochet. He is showing love every single day, which sounds as bad as you think it is.
Show some love.
Yeah, he will text me, show some love every once in a while. Not even a picture of Ricochet, just saying show some love. It's our new running bit. We got to add that to the list of audio clips that we need to have. Just Justin Roberts saying show some love. Don't say Ricochet, just show some love.
No one talk for the next 10 minutes. I'll have it by the end of the show.
This match I think will be pretty solid. I think with 12 people, you should just make it a straight Cybernetico. Oh, Jesus Christ. Just make it one of those matches. I think that should be fun. I think that's a fun little match here. CMLL World Women's. Oh, I remember what I was going to say while Scotty's doing that bit. There was conversation regarding Private Party because there was a bit that came up that Private Party is in their contract year and there's some there's some interest, let's say, from WWE. So it's a question of what they're going to do and how, and then it, whenever these things come up, especially with AEW, it then becomes like a thing of, okay, were they pushed properly? Were they done properly in AEW, or did Tony Khan do them dirty? So that we can, build up again this sort of the culture war that is wrestling nowadays. But I saw someone make a solid point of like, part of the reason the Private Party title reign didn't quite work as much is the same reason, in their theory, was this. It was the same reason the Daniel Garcia TNT title reign didn't work as much. If I recall, they both won the titles right around the same time, and immediately after them winning the titles, the C2 begins, which eats up most, if not all, of the TV time for the next however long. And so like immediately puts up a halt on all of their momentum for all three guys. And I do recall Daniel Garcia and Private Party still getting on TV during that C2 period. So it's not a completely 100% accurate theory, in my opinion. But I don't think it's necessarily inaccurate to say that the C2 definitely took up the rest of the oxygen in the room and definitely deflated, I think, some of their title win momentum. So that is an interesting thought to have. For Private Party, are they going to go to WWE? I think they should actually go to WWE. I don't necessarily think WWE is the place for tag team wrestling per se, unless you're on SmackDown, but they're still a ways away from that. I think they served their purpose in AEW and did a good job and developed, but they just had stop and starts constantly, mainly due from injuries. If they went to WWE, it's a different place, different environment. They can bolster up their career a little bit more. And I think if WWE has interest, they should take that offer. I think it's probably it's the same sort of thing. I think of like Jade Cargill to a certain degree of like, I think AEW did all they kind of could with Private Party, and if there's interest from WWE, then yeah, you should go take that. Scotty, I don't know if you muted me or if you heard that bit while you were working on the Show Some Love audio cue, but do you have any thoughts on Private Party?
All around, I don't want to say failure.
Sure.
Because I think it's a bit extreme. They did have their tag team title win. But when they won the titles, it didn't feel right to me. Like it just felt rushed to get there, and then the ran was what it was. I think there's blame on both sides when it comes to them, right? And the lack of them not rising to the, I think, level they were expected to after beating the Young Bucks all those years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like they were kind of set up to be the next great tag team of AEW, and then they weren't. So I think that's obviously like you said, part of it is injuries, right? Part of it is injuries that hurt them, but also part of it is never really fully going with them either.
Yeah.
We're seeing the similar thing with Top Flight.
Yeah.
Like very similar. Injuries obviously derailed them. But at the same time, so many times people are like, what are we doing with Top Flight? It's very, very similar. So that's kind of the way I look at it. It's a bummer, because I think they should have always been like that great tag team that AEW made, but it is what it is.
I don't think they were ever made. I think in terms of
even though they won the belts, I don't think they ever got to that level. And I think a lot of people wanted them to be at that level and maybe convinced themselves they would, and then they just never did. So
yeah, I mean, injuries are derails a lot of progress, right? So it's
for sure.
And sometimes you have to relearn things and all depending on the injury. So these things suck, and they definitely it's not like same thing with like Top Flight. They did something with Dante and continue with Dante. They did something with Isaiah Cassidy when Mark Quinn was injured. They moved him over with Matt Hardy.
It would be weird if they left, though.
It would be weird. Day ones like them
had tag belts, but they might have been unhappy with how that went. So maybe that's part of it.
Back to Dynamite Grand Slam Mexico. CMLL World Women's Title match. Zeuxis defending her title against Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné
title.
Yeah, do we think she's winning the CMLL World Women's title here?
Yeah. You think she's gonna lose to Zeuxis before her world title match at All In?
I doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah.
So it obviously makes her losing a title a bit more interesting, because we look to be going a different way, and then
So Mercedes Moné loses the TBS title, and that kind of
still has that.
Sorry, yes, not the TBS title, the New Japan Strong title. And typically in AEW, they'll do that thing where they'll belt up someone with a bunch of belts, and then they'll start losing a bunch of belts.
Yeah.
Since then, I believe Mercedes Moné has won one belt in Austria, of all places, and now has a title match for the CMLL World Women's title against Zeuxis, where Mercedes Moné will also probably win.
Yep.
I think there's actually another belt she's challenging for somewhere. I'm not entirely positive. I don't remember, but I think I saw that there's even another belt she's going for. But ultimately, you look at all that and you sort of think to yourself, Scotty, Why did she lose the New Japan Strong title? I'm asking you this because look, you're obviously locked in on Stardom. Why do you think they just were like, yeah, she doesn't need that belt anymore? We can take that back.
For sure, it's cheap, bro. Like that's gotta be it. Like that is the only thing that now makes sense. Is they didn't want to keep paying for Mercedes for now. Like
Sure.
maybe it'll come back around. But that's to me what happened. Maybe they thought they get her in Japan once or twice, and that never happened. And obviously, I know she did the Wrestle Dynasty show, but that doesn't count.
Well, she also did
show.
that 3-way.
Yeah,
Genesis.
that was years ago. Now
Yeah.
that was 2023.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe it was just them being like, all right, we're not gonna pay this right now, pay this anymore, which makes sense. I mean, if they kept paying that but let go of Tetsuya Naito, the optics aren't great.
Yeah.
So it's hard to blame them. They got a way to get the belt off of her while keeping her strong. So I think that's more so the answer now, looking back, rather than what we may have thought was, oh, she'll drop her titles or maybe something. Now it seems like no, she's still doing the I have all the belts thing. It's just a matter of, to me, could AEW convince their other partner to give them a belt instead? Which, to be fair, it's CMLL belt, so they really won't care that much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess they won't pay. They probably won't have to pay as much either. She probably, I'm guessing. You know.
It's funny to think of, like, if you look at like AEW, and I don't think it applies to every single person. But if you look at all the releases or people leaving New Japan as like Bushiroad going through the budget item list of like, okay, this is how much we're paying people. Like Okada very much felt that way. Ospreay less so, but Naito obviously very much as well. And then like Mercedes Moné obviously didn't have a contract in New Japan, but then potentially theorizing that gets bumped off because of how much we're paying her. It starts becoming the question, Scotty. Damn, how much were they paying Mercedes Moné? Holy shit.
Probably a good amount per date.
Yeah, gotta imagine that. So yeah, I think that's a fair reasoning. I think that feels logical. I don't know how much this Austria company or is gonna pay for her, but it's the same sort of thing of they're gonna belt them up, and I can't wait for All in Texas. Mercedes Moné beats Tony Storm, and then we can replicate that Ultimo Dragon photo of Mercedes Moné.
Yep, that seems to be the goal here for sure.
Worth
noting, just for the CML people, that La Catalina beat Tony Storm last year.
Yeah.
In so that's probably who comes back and gets that belt from Mercedes, just to connect this all and make it about CMLL in the end. So
yeah,
there you
go. Next up, Scotty, a duel of two worlds for you. Singles match here: Mystico versus MJF.
This is the type of shit that should get AEW shut down. Tony Khan taken down. This is so you do one CMLL wrestler singles match on this entire show, and it should be Mystico, right? And you pick MJF. Why don't you just shoot me in the head? Just shoot me in the fucking head. He sucks, by the way. Like, MJF is terrible. I watched his match the other day when he teamed with the Hurt Business for the first time. He just like brings everything down when he's in the ring. He is a goofy gimmick wrestler who stinks.
What do you think about him wearing the MVP gear?
That was hilarious. That's undeniably hilarious.
The ballin'?
Yeah. Can't deny that. But like, he isn't a wrestler. He's a gimmick, a comedy gimmick, but he happens to be a main eventer for some reason. Everything he does is way too goofy and not serious.
You're still talking about MJF, or are you talking about Joe Hendry?
Great question, man. Great question. When the reasoning behind MJF being on a list is, well, he's pretty bad at everything, but you know. My favorite part of that was like whoever wrote, oh, you know, his in-ring's not the best part of his thing. But everything else is top tier. I'm like, really? Is it? Because it's pretty bad to me. When he called this guy Sin Cara, I wanted to kill him. I wanted to murder him in broad daylight. I was like, how dare you talk about my king like that? How dare you? But also, shout out Sin Cara. He was the man. Mystico's never failed me. Mystico, I hope you make this loser tap in seconds. Get out of here. If Mystico loses, I'm never watching AEW again. Yeah, that's right. We've done a third one. There's no way he's losing.
This match was built specifically for Mystico to win.
This partnership would literally have to end.
Yeah.
I think like this would be like end of partnership if MJF won. I'm very confident Mystico's gonna win, so that's fine. I don't know. It's just like he couldn't pick anyone else. There are two massive, gigantic tag team matches on the show. You couldn't have just picked one of them to face Mystico. Literally everyone in all of these matches are better options.
Yeah.
Adam Cole included. No. And listen, you know why I say that? Because like Adam Cole tries. I think MJF tries to be bad. Everything he does stick, like just everything. He's a comedy gimmick that again is somehow a main eventer. I hate him.
I really like
that being said, this match might work because it's in Arena Mexico and Mystico is in Mystico. Like that's the thing. Like this, there's a chance this works. Like not good. It's not gonna be good.
If we're assuming that Mystico is winning this match and obviously being in Arena Mexico, this is the perfect formula to put together a really good match.
It is. It's just, you know what this match is? And this is not like a great thing. It's just going to be the better version of the Jericho match.
Which, I mean, any match would be the better version of the Jericho match.
Literally anything. I'm still mad. That should have probably ended the relationship. So the fact we got here.
Yeah.
Bravo. Yeah. When
Mystico
wins, it'll be okay.
You started talking about like anyone else on the 12-man tag should have been in here. I looked at Brody King versus Mystico, and I was like, "Oh man, oh baby." I mean, obviously Takeshita versus Mystico.
Yeah, Takeshita was like, and I was like, "Well, we can't beat him."
Yeah,
so like, that's the part.
Takeshita, Fletcher,
But like, I get one Mystico singles match this entire week, and this is the one. Should have just did a Verno. Should have just had the usual match. Give the CML offer match.
They should film. I've been thinking about the Ring of Honor show and like any other one else that's like in town for these shows that could work that. They should do Mystico versus Averno just on Ring of Honor, just because.
That'd be so sick.
Like
Mystico's not going to break a sweat in this match. So
yeah,
doesn't wrestle. He just stands there and yells and does the worst bumps known to mankind. You ever notice that how bad he is at literally everything? Like he's like he like when he does like the fall flat on his back and just sits there like, I'm like, you suck, dude. You can't even do this right. Oh God. People like MJF still.
I
know you don't.
I don't know. I think the vibe is very much like been tarnished, and I think people are sort of waiting it out with the Hurt Business.
He's 29. Wow.
Yeah.
Ruined his career before he turned 30.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we had this conversation before, where it's just like I don't really know the long what is MJF 10 years from now? I don't really know what that is.
Hopefully a WWE superstar.
But he has that tattoo, Scotty. He has that tattoo directly underneath a boot that he can hide.
Didn't he do a gimmick where he was getting taken off?
I think so. Oh, he did do that gimmick where he did do a thing where he was getting it removed, which is very funny. We should have done like a proper gimmick with that where, I think you have to get some removal for the tattoo, and then you have to like let it rest, and then you come back. We should like every month or so see MJF back at the tattoo removal spot and then actively see that tattoo disappearing.
Oh God.
Anyways. And the main event, presumably, in Arena Mexico, 10-man tag team match. Claudio Castagnoli, John Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson versus Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay, Katsuya Shibata, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Samoa Joe.
I mean, this is fun.
It's a fun 10-man.
I think there was so I've seen people say like, oh, I want a little more from this card. When I read that, now I think it's great. I have no problem with this card outside of MJF.
But it will work. We'll have to.
It will work, right? It's going to be a fine 3-star match, and the crowd will be into it. So, like, that's the way I look at it. But talking about this match, I feel maybe people wanted a special singles from either Ospreay or Kenny Omega, God rest his soul. And that's probably maybe the pain here. Maybe that's kind of the annoyance, right? Because they were on the poster or whatever.
Yeah.
When the show was announced.
Which I think is
pretty
fair. Kenny Omega getting literally injured off television, stretcher job off television.
Yeah, how'd you like that?
I thought it was good. I liked it. You don't like it? You don't like the stretcher job?
I don't know why Don has to always be here. When he walked out, I was like, you're kidding me. I was like, I feel like I'm being mocked. And the blood was a little overboard, but it made me laugh, and I think that was the point. So
the smash cut to Omega at the exact moment the blood is splurting out of his mouth.
Yeah, I was like, that's insane.
Yeah,
but it's all about that boom. That's what I learned immediately after that. Because they just went right to him. Cool. No, I didn't hate the thing. I wish Don Callis would leave me alone. Also, this is just a me thing. Really weird watching a wrestling like a real wrestling segment, like TV American wrestling segment for Okada and Omega.
Yeah,
because I watched the great video they put before it, and then they did that, and I was like, I feel like we lost the plot, like between doing these two things, which is fine. It won't matter by the time we get to the match, but it just was like, right, this is America now, not Japan. Gotcha.
Yeah, we have to build off the television.
Yeah, I was like, which I understand now. To me, match was built with that video. I was like, I am sold. I am here. I am ready. But blood and guts, literally.
You quite literally.
That was disgusting. I know it's not real blood, but I was like, this is gross. This blood is thick. This is disgusting.
There's a couple C's on that blood. Going back to Dynamite, one big thing that I sort of question about this show is, this upcoming Dynamite show in Mexico. One of the things I question, and I messaged this to you, is that I am wondering, these are a lot of matches. These are what? We got 6 matches announced, 2.5-hour show. I'm truly wondering how many, if any, like promo segments or whatever like story beats we're going to do, or is this show just going to be just 2.5 hours of straight wrestling? I obviously, and I think you, Scotty, would also agree, 2.5 hours of straight wrestling, of high quality wrestling, very much welcome. But how? I guess what I'm going to say is like almost canonical is this show going to be? Because you want to obviously have a good show for the Mexican audience, buying tickets and whatnot. But then it's also like, well, it's also Dynamite. Do you want to build off? Do you want to have Don Callis come out with Okada and like explained why we attacked Omega last week? Are we going to get that? Like, are we going to get? I would love like I'm just throwing this out there from someone from the injured list. Are we going to get like Adam Copeland return? That sort of thing on this sort of show. I'm just throwing that out there because FTR brought him up recently. I'm like,
I know, it's just funny.
He brought him up. The thing.
Could you imagine that? I mean, honestly, the
it might rule.
The Mexican fans would probably love that.
Yeah,
like like the WWE guy. You think they'd probably love that.
Him running down the stairs.
Yeah, like honestly, let's do it. That might be the only time.
Yeah. Are we gonna do those sort of things that like kind of regular TV, or at the very least like heavily promoted TV, like any other Dynamite, like Winter's Coming? Like, are we going to get bits like that? That's sort of where I'm interested in.
I would prefer if we didn't. Let's just let this be the wrestling show.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and have all the angles in matches, in the ring, stuff like that.
You can do one video of Don and Okada explaining themselves. That's it.
Sure.
Otherwise, pure wrestling. Top to bottom, 2.5 hours of just great wrestling. I think that is the best case scenario. And that is what the people want. Because you're honestly, what this show's purpose is bringing all these talents to Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let them show out, you know?
I agree. So I guess it remains to be seen. We'll definitely talk about that next week. I think we'll definitely be talking about a bunch of these shows as much as we can watch next week on Ring Post Radio. But of course, before we go, last show, Fantastica Mania in Mexico on Friday. AEW is still involved in that show, but now New Japan joins the fray. And I saw someone say that Rev Pro is also joining the fray. And I was like, come on. But sure, if you want to give him that. But Fantastica Mania Mexico, that Friday show is what it's going to be. The matches are as follows: Red Velvet versus Kira, Thunder Rosa versus La Jarochita, an 8-man tag team match. The Crew, Action Andretti, Leo Rush, Robbie X, and Rocky Romero versus Magnus Ruggiero, Zendokan Jr. finally showing up on one of these shows for me, and Defunto.
Defunto's beast.
I'm a big Defunto
Dude's
guy.
like 36, looks crazy, does crazy shit. That's the real.
Ultimo Guerrero versus Yoda Tsuji.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. That's the guy that he learned from. So cool.
I want to say anytime Yoda Tsuji goes back to CMLL, he only wrestles Ultimo Guerrero.
He did lose a world title match to Gran Guerrero.
That is true.
Last time.
True. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know why I think that way, but
it feels that way. No, I agree.
Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, and Titan versus Francisco Akira, Templario, and TJP.
I mean, that should be good.
Volador Jr. versus Ricochet.
Show some love for Ricochet. I really wish it wasn't Volador Jr.
If it was like 2023 Volador Jr., then yes.
Yeah, not injured, destroyed one.
Yeah, currently injured, wrestling through it, doing the best he can.
Fascinated to see how these two work because they're both Rudos. I'll still look forward to it. I'll show some love.
Got it. Gotta show some love. And of course, the main event, CMLL World Trios title match. Mystico, Neon, Mascara Dorada versus Bandito, Hologram, and Commander. Well, you're right. Not
Bandito
Commander.
and Hologram.
Bandito, Hologram, and a third person yet to be named, I believe.
I was really excited about, didn't
say in the Informa?
No, they're probably going to do it next week. Lucha Blog said. Which is very last second, but they probably didn't know this week. So
yeah, the injury just happened. So.
Obviously, devastating that Los Tiantes del Air will now be out of action, as if they were in action.
Dude, finally, they've been complaining about them for weeks, and then they finally have a match, and now it's not happening.
They're like, "What if we got rid of it?" But Bandito, Hologram, they'll have someone cool with them, and then obviously El Sky team's where it's at. So
yeah.
Just put like
the year so far, I feel like.
I know this is AEW versus CMLL, so like it has to be an AEW guy. But hear me out here. What if it wasn't?
Okay, New Japan. What? It was Robbie X.
I hate you with every part of my being.
I mean, Robbie X is the kind of lucha style.
No, I said no. They need to just put a base. Just put someone that can be a base, honestly.
Put in Taurus.
Put Barbaro Cavanario. Put Taurus. That's actually a good one. Well, he's a heel though. Who gives a shit? Just put Taurus. Who gives a shit? Let's not act like things matter right now. Okay, let's just put him in. I don't care. This isn't on AEW television, so we can do that.
Yeah. If we had to pick someone, I do like that pick of Cavanario. If we had to pick somebody from the AEW, that would be awesome.
I'd have to pin Bandito or Hologram though, so you can't do that.
I think if I looked at the roster page and picked some people, Mike Bailey feels like an immediate slot just because he's He, has a relationship alliance with Commander and
The Jet. How about the Jet?
I would also take Kevin Knight. I hate to say it, Scotty, but it almost feels like, well, why don't I just take out Hologram as well and do Kevin Knight and Speedball and Bandito versus Hell Sky Team? But I also want to see Hologram. So
yeah, no, that's fair. I get what you're saying though.
Yeah, the logic would make more sense there.
What about?
I guess you can take out Bandito, and then do it from there. Hologram, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight.
No, we don't take out Bandito.
Look, man, it's a rock and a hard place for me. I like both of them.
You don't get jet speed. You get one of the two.
Yeah, I know. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. Willow Nightingale, that'd be fun. I threw it like a dark horse pick is like Nick Wayne. I think that's like but also that's
that
doesn't quite work.
Yeah, exactly. That's a heel. AR Fox might be a good one.
AR Fox, I think, is a legitimately good one. If
he can get pinned. ...
If he can come into the country. I know that was a big issue with Wembley many moons ago. Right. Legitimately, Scotty, I don't love this, but Sammy Guevara.
Then don't say it. Yes, said it.
Sammy Guevara. That feels like a guy that can fit. He's done AAA a bunch. He was a former Latin
American. What about Big Shotty? Why not Big Shotty?
I'll take Big Shotty.
I like Big Shotty.
He's a heel. He's a heel, but I'll take him.
Yeah, we can just. A lot of these people are.
What about Serpentico?
That's a no.
Oh, boo. Here's a super outside pick. Roddy Strong.
I'm in.
Just keeping up that pace. He's the if Callum Newman's the Prince of Pace, then Roderick Strong's the king of it.
He can be.
I knew you were gonna like that one. This guy's fast. He can keep up with everybody in the ring. Throw out some backbreakers.
I mean, if Callum Newman's the Prince of Pace, a lot of people could be the king of it. But that's
he runs the ropes fast, Scotty. What
about Leo Rush? Wait, he's already on the show, right?
Yeah, he's already on the show. This would be like a really good spot to have like a returning Orange Cassidy in. I don't love that pick, but
I got reminded the other day he wasn't here. Like I saw someone post about him. I was like, oh, right. I forgot he existed.
It's interesting.
Darby.
A Darby return would also be very fun.
That'd be crazy.
That would be awesome. That would rule.
We should just bringing people back.
It is interesting that like Orange Cassidy feels like so in line with the ethos of AEW, but he's been gone, and I legitimately haven't thought about him. Everyone's constantly thinking about Darby, but no one has been thinking about Orange Cassidy.
What about Big Bill?
Yes. I was going to throw out the joke answer of Lance Archer.
Which reminds me, V1's scared of Big Bill again, by the way. Boo. Maybe he's in the play-in. Just Big Bill fucking shows up.
They do the play-in, and it's Big Bill versus Josh Alexander.
Huh? No, it's actually Big Bill versus Yoshihashi.
Now we're talking, baby. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. We're talking of Juice. Anyways, I think that's
Juice Robinson.
Juice. The return of Juice.
Rock hard
against El Sky Team. It's all five of those guys, and then also Juice.
Juice is just screaming as he's about to get La Mystica put on him.
Oh, no! Juice selling La Mystica would rule. Oh my god,
folks, I've booked it. You're welcome.
That's the bit. Well, that has been Ring Post Radio for everybody. Hope it was a good show. Hope you enjoyed it. I certainly thought it was a good show, despite waking up at 4:30 in the morning. Scotty, give us some plugs. Give us some match of the week. Give us your match of the week rec.
Fuck yeah!
As we close out the show for Father's Day.
Yeah. I got a lot. So lock in, peep game. I also just hurt my shoulder. Oh,
what are you kind of? Oh, you need Yoshimoto. You're Kanamoto-ing me.
Yeah,
you put your arm in a sling.
I'm bringing in Doki.
You're bringing in
okay
Doki to do the plugs.
Lock in, peep game. Let's go. Match of the week. I don't think I didn't watch a lot of wrestling this week. Admittedly,
you caught up on Dynamite for sure.
Well, I caught up on everything. There was just nothing to watch for me.
Yeah.
It
was a light week. It was a light week.
So literally, like my AEW week was catching up.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much all I watched. So we'll go with a match from. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. I got sent this match last night, and I'm gonna pick it. I'm gonna pick Mystico versus Paraguayo Jr. from 2005.
Oh my god,
that was great. Thank you to Eternal. Made sure I watched it. That was great.
Yeah.
That
sounds like a rule.
We got a lot of plugs.
Can you send that? Hold on. Can you send that to me before we go?
Yes, I can. Remind me when I finish doing this. I'll get it after I finish this little game that I do. Okay. Follow me at Scotty Wrestling. As always, Twitter, Blue Sky. That's it. I mean, you can follow me on Instagram. You won't get anything there, but go nuts if you want. I had an interview this past week, posted on Fightful.com with Shino of Marigold, who just, of course, debuted. So another super rookie, first international interview. Always very cool there. Check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ScottEatWrestling. All my usual Joshi video content over on there. We have 2 videos up. And this week on Fightful.com, not Fightful.com. It'll be on YouTube.com, technically.
YouTube.com/Fightful, probably.
I'm currently finishing editing it. But
is this exclusive, by the way, Scotty? Is this exclusive?
This is. I haven't said this anywhere else. So
this is exclusive. I mean,
some people know, but unless this is the first time you get to see it, I guess. But it will be on YouTube, hopefully Wednesday or Thursday, ahead of Stardom, the Conversion 2025 on Saturday, before she challenges for the IWGP Women's Championship. It'll be me and Sari. Fun video interview, which was a lot of fun. So definitely go check that out. Fun little screenshot here if you want to see. It's in real time. That actually did happen. I'm finishing editing it because it's a very unique interview, so there'll be subtitles for both myself. So what I'm saying will be subtitled in Japanese. What she's saying will be subtitled in English. Very, very cool that I'm able to put this together the way it is. So that will be out. There might be another interview too this week. I don't know. I've been very, very busy. But yeah, that is it from me. Did I say my match of the week? Oh, I did. Mystico versus Paraguayo Jr. Shouts out. Now let me go get that link for you.
And how much of that interview, by the way, was you talking about what was it, the schoolgirl gimmick from NXT? I have to imagine most of it.
Well, we didn't bring that up. Yeah, a lot of. I mean, I've interviewed her now. I think we're at 8 times. So this
is the first video, right?
Yeah. So like anyone that like probably would interview her for the first time would have like a more topic-based interview. Yeah, more general, like, but mine's obviously like very much following the career, so it's a little different. But yeah, that was really cool. So definitely check that out. And like I said, watch Mystico versus Paraguayo Jr. That shit ruled.
I have the link now, and now it's loaded up on my on my device here. So I appreciate that, Scotty. Was that all the plugs?
Oh, and I think that's it. I'm trying to next week is starting the Conversion. I don't think I'll be doing any like recording for it because I have to go to a bachelor party that same day.
Nice.
Kinda. I mean, it's for my best friend, but it's not that exciting. Sorry.
Get dunked on, nerd.
I have a great meal. That's what I know for sure.
You got bumped for Suri.
Buddy, no doubt. That goes without saying. So yeah, that will I'll do something for that. I know a lot of people are still yelling at me because I keep saying Sari's gonna win. But listen, I have a gimmick to live up to. I have multiple gimmicks to live up to. So cry me a river. Anyways, continue.
I guess next week we'll talk about the start of the show, start on the Conversion.
CMLL.
Talk about a bunch of CMLL. I guess we'll see what happens with Triple Mania and if it's at all worth discussing bits. But we'll also
say it with me, Ryan. No.
Yeah, and then I guess maybe we'll have a conversation about what we want to do about Night of Champions in Saudi.
Oh, you know what I meant to say? I think it fucking sucks that CM Punk is wrestling in Saudi Arabia against John Cena on Night of Champions. I think it's absolute ass. devastated me that the last time these two will ever face is in Saudi Arabia. But boy, oh boy, oh boy. I will also say it couldn't be more fitting of WWE in 2025.
And the fact that it's become the story, but they can't necessarily say that Saudi Arabia is a bad country.
They can't say publicly that CM Punk has said like Saudi Arabia bad, but that is your story. He's going, so like in the end, he is the hypocrite.
To that end, I want to say this, and I want listeners of the show to say this to other people, and I want to put pressure on CM Punk in any capacity we can as a society. It's not happening because he's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
If he's not a hypocrite, Scotty, we all know that when you work a Saudi show, you get a nice little payday bonus, especially when you're probably going to be working the main event of the show.
Yeah.
CM Punk, if you're not a hypocrite, donate that entire paycheck for Saudi to a proper good charity. Pick one. The Trevor Project is a great one. I mean, pick any charity that is good.
If he did that,
I would give legitimately extremely mad respect for that move.
If he took Saudi's money and gave it to
like the Trevor Project
charity.
specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be kind of awesome.
That would rule. That would be
I'm not counting on it, but
yes. I'm severely not counting on it because this guy is a true hypocrite. He will take the paycheck and run with it to the bank. But he shouldn't. And I would love for people and for the internet to put that pressure on the guy and see if he does it. Because look, that's how you escape the hypocrite conversation.
That's true.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Anyways, plugs. My bits. I still haven't done my plugs. My plug is listen to the latest episode of The Ballot. It came out last Wednesday, all about Gilbert Leduc, French catch wrestler of the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. Had a great, like literally the historian on the topic of French catch wrestling, and obviously Gilbert. Phil Lyons. So he obviously has done a crap ton of research in all of Europe. He is basically the European history scholar on professional wrestling. So he was the perfect guest to have. You will listen to this and learn a crap ton of stuff, not just about Gilbert Leduc, but also about French catch wrestling. It's a great resource for that reason. If you want to learn about that, you will learn. Go check it out. It's a great episode. Even if you have no interest in like the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame or anything like that, this podcast serves as the ability to learn about the history of professional wrestling around the globe. Not just necessarily about the Hall of Fame, but it's a podcast where you're able to learn about the careers, the lives of some of these wrestlers, the territory of the time, especially with Gilbert. And then the discussion of whether or not he was a good wrestler, and that echelon of wrestler. He was a really good wrestler. When I was doing research, I saw a lot of comparisons of people saying that he has comparisons to Bret Hart. So if that's a good starting point for you to get into and learning more about Gilbert Leduc, then listen to The Ballot and you can learn even more and get even more recommendations about the guy. Listen to Ring Post Radio wherever you get podcasts. Follow us on social media. I'm just going to start saying social media, Scotty. I feel like that's a good, instead of listing every single social media under the sun, it's a good thing to just say.
See, that's smart.
Follow us on social media. Subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your audio podcasts.
I had a great bit to close the show. I'm devastated. I can't think of it.
Was it the Show Some Love bit? Yeah, you didn't upload it yet.
I couldn't get it.
Oh, darn. Well, next week, like we said, we'll have a lot more to discuss on Ring Post Radio. And until then, everybody, enjoy your Taco Bell.